And they're not doing all that.
So if a man got plaits, just normal plaits, not even dreads, just plaits, just not touching the top and you're fading the sides. That's it.
The whole point is that when you get a high top, you're doing something to the top.
That's right though, because if you go in with an afro, he's got to shape it round to.
You know, I'm not taking.
You know, I'm making this too technical. It's not a shape up because he's getting a fade.
Right.
Done.
Yeah. But we mutated the conversation to something else. But okay, fine.
We're in on a complicated thing today.
Someone has to take his role.
You know what I mean?
But you don't think it's fair though?
The worst thing in house.
Naturally changed. You know what I mean? Like,
what hasn't changed?
Kid, like the trim hasn't changed.
Bruv, I never had a beard as a youth.
Okay, fair enough.
So,
no.
He's saying fair enough, like he did.
I have a beard now, to be fair.
Before lockdown, how much did your trim cost?
15.
50. Right. Yeah. How much did yours cost?
Probably about 20 or 25.
No, usually young thing. 15. Mine was actually. My barber's a con artist, so he put 13, knowing that you're not walking with the £3. You know what I mean? So it's 15.
Smart thing.
A Ginos. No, it's on a Ginos thing.
After lockdown, everything just shut up.
Yeah, everything
shut up. But there's men that getting charged £50 now for a haircut.
£50.
I just go bald. I'll just shave my team off. I just do it myself. Long.
£50 for a haircut. He must be a bad boy barber though.
No.
No barber that's that good.
What? £50?
£50? No, man.
You don't know. He could be just high tech, super lines.
If every trim was like Turkish, head back, and you get
massage
the towel,
the face and everything.
You know what I mean? Ingrown hairs pull out. Maybe I might say
massage my cheek with some lotions and things like
I
that.
don't know if I want to massage my cheek, but
What you look at it?
There you go, bruv.
£50, please.
And I'm paying you.
Right,
But seriously, when you go there, the last time I went to the Turkish place near my yard, guy cleansed my face first and hot towel and grease it up and everything. And I'm like, this is what I should be doing.
So you saying
it's
better to
more
go to
like
a Turkish man?
Like a pampering
Yeah.
trim.
It's not a trim. It's like a whole process you're going through.
So it's better to go to the Turkish man than a black man.
Depends on what
If
you
that
what
happened
you're
in my
after.
barbershop, I'm switching. I ain't got time for that. Like,
What, for man to come and
do your
massage?
face and all that? What's this about?
Yeah,
but
I'm in a spa.
But
He's the type of man that don't grease when he comes out the shower.
Like, imagine, look how packed barbershops are on a normal day. Like your famous one barber is going to trim 30
Brother,
man. You're going to
you're
watch him
paying
do
for your
towel
time.
faces too.
Nah.
Bro, I pay for his...
I'm not with you on this.
Really?
I'm glad you're sitting over there. This would have gone different. Because if a man said to me, 50 buff,
Oh, for 50?
I'm sitting in a chair, put the thing on, does the haircut. When the haircut process is finished, he's then, okay, my brother, goes, and you know they got the tongs to take the hot towel, and then they just wrap it around your face.
And deal with the thing.
And then they wash your face, and then they get the cutthroat, and they go through the whole thing without leaving scars on your face.
I'm there already, bro.
And then certain man need the hairs pull out. Do you know what I mean?
For £50, yeah. I thought you meant.
And then what, you walk out with a little Tom Ford spray?
Like a lollipop. Do a lollipop as well.
I mean,
way out and a sticker to say I was here.
yeah, bro, I'll take it all. But
I didn't move.
I didn't cry. And then stickers to go.
Smiley face.
I didn't move in the chair today.
My barber's got 6 chairs. So are you having that with every man there and the man then waiting behind you?
That's
Bro,
ridiculous.
for my £50, I couldn't give a shit.
£50?
You're
Who's
right.
sitting behind me, bruv?
£50,
But
yeah.
after that, I always do my feet.
for my £30, I do bookings. So I go with my time. I don't sit in the barbers. I just get there and it's like, yeah, your time's this time. You sit in the chair, your time.
Yeah, I get that for 20.
Done. That's good. I ain't gonna lie. Yeah. But then, like I said, if you're getting all of that for £50, you know, a little pampering session.
Is that
You know what the thing is? Buddy's the type of man to go to a barber's, and if they say to him, look, we'll give you half price if you stand up and get your trim done, he'll probably be on it.
Half price,
stand with
stand
no
up.
chair.
No chair. 50% off.
Trim you standing.
Man close to your face, keeping up with nah.
But also people forget though, barber's not really about it's the person in it. It's that person you know in it.
Yeah, that's
So it doesn't matter what the fee is. You're not going to change your barber. Like,
I don't know about that.
However,
I don't know about, I'm not on that.
there's a couple. No, there's a couple barbers that I see online. There's one dude on Instagram that is really good, but he does everything. Like, if you ain't got no hairline,
he'll
he take
pull
out the
it
thing,
back,
spray the thing for you.
But he's not a barber. He's an artist. He's an artist.
Nah, man.
Sprays up the
It's
thing.
funny how men were teasing women about weave all our lives, and then man are drawing up their hairlines now, man.
Someone are getting
And more.
the weave in the hair.
They stick the thing on.
Bro, so what's wrong with it? What's wrong with it?
Nothing's wrong with it.
They
It's
fade the
ironic
thing.
how people say, "Oh, is that your hair?"
You know, it's like he's not defending it.
Keep their hair.
But I was saying, no,
I'm just
what's-
saying, it's ironic.
What's
innit?
wrong with a man getting false hair
I
in
don't
his
think
hair?
so. I don't think so.
would you go out with a girl with weave?
It wouldn't be my preference.
Would you go out with a girl with weave?
Yeah, I would. Yeah.
Would you go out with a girl with weave?
Yeah.
Would you go out with a girl with weave? And you would go out with a girl with weave?
Yeah, you would.
All right.
I would.
He probably has.
So then what would be the problem now with a man putting...
A toupee.
Yeah,
You know, I'm moving crazy.
you know what I mean? I want cane roll.
Could you imagine?
I want cane roll right now. Just,
I want the Bobby Brown.
hey.
Could you imagine?
Moving.
Right? All right. Let me set the scene. Got your chick. Get back to you're in the room. Halfway through the dog, you see yourself in the mirror. Bow! Your hair just flies. The front of your hair just flies up. So that's too much.
That's if you don't.
A little
That's
bit
if
of
you
glue.
get the budget version.
Yeah, come on, man.
I'm not doing
That's
all
when
that.
you're paying £20 for your trim. You know what I mean? That's what happens.
No.
But you see, Diddy's like high top. He ain't got a high top.
Nah, not for the man in Hollywood.
Yeah, like if you see Diddy's hair, like with the
hairline's
hairline
not
at the
back in
part, you're like, how is his hair so jet black?
Listen.
It's not real.
If I had that much money,
Harvey's
I would
on
have a jet black high top Rastafarian
with a string.
with a night tick. I've got all of it.
Yeah.
Nah.
You
I'd
can't
have
tell
tried
me
it all.
nothing.
I'd have had locks,
No.
plaits,
No.
everything. I'd
You
just
would
tried
go
it.
fake shop, go into the section
room.
and buy a packet of hair, and then tell someone to put it into your hair.
I'm saying
Your scalp.
No. I'm not
Scalp.
I'm not
Scalp,
saying.
not in your
It's
hair.
yes or no. Yeah, exactly.
for me right now, buddy, right now, no. All right, I wouldn't do it. All right, but I'm
Wake
thinking
up tomorrow, bald.
No, if I was woke up tomorrow, bald, maybe. All right, but I'm thinking to myself, if it wasn't so looked down on in society, I think a lot of people would
But it's
do
not
it.
looked down on society. It's how you feel.
Yeah, well,
no one really cares,
I
but
think
it's how you carry. It's how
the
you feel
longer
about
time goes on, all right, maybe our kids, maybe it might even be quicker than that. All right, I think they will be putting
it. If
weave
they're
in their
bored,
head.
what
my
kind of
son.
kids are we expecting to have?
No,
Like,
but
bored at
it's society. What I'm saying is society changes. So when they grow up now, they'll be like, well, boy, got a little bit bald, yeah. Let me put the weave. I'm gonna get plaits this week. Well, you got no hair. Like your hair is shaven. You're like, nah, let me get plaits next week. And they're gonna put the weave in their head, the little toupee thing, and done. Just like it's an avatar. I mean, it'll be their world, isn't it?
You know what?
I'm telling
Your
you, that's
world
it.
and my world.
But you
not
say
in the
these
same
things.
universe.
I'm telling you, the way things
know what?
change, it changes.
He's right. That is right.
You're definitely not right.
Like, I'll tell you why it's right. Because 15 years ago, there was man them blonde bleaching their hair on a nut and flex. Do you know what I mean? I got my high top. All I need to do now is bleach it. And everyone was like, right, you got blonde hair. Nice. If you said that to someone 15 years earlier, they'll be like, what do you mean? Now you got guys putting red in their hair.
Man took us down.
Right, you know what? No. It's okay. It's okay. Do you know, I'm gonna get the podcast kicked off because
Yeah, on that note, innit?
Tuesday, man, I didn't introduce, man.
We're on.
We're live. I'm hearing feedback.
Do you know
I
what
know
the
what
thing
you're
is?
saying, but it's because it's the ages you're saying that. Like I know 10-year-olds are going to be struggling with being bald.
No, I'm not saying that the 10-year-olds. I'm saying our kids, when they grow older, they're gonna be on the generation will be like, oh, right, I'm just gonna change my hair, my look.
Yeah.
You know
Some
what I
of it
mean?
now. You see it on Instagram now. Grown men are doing it. Like,
Yeah, but it's not so like it's not everybody's not doing it, but you will soon see where it gets to the point where
you're saying
everybody's
everybody's
doing
gonna
it.
be
Go
on
to Atlanta and you'll see
No, but Atlanta's a different place.
it's much more
It's like
widely
alien.
accepted.
it'll
Atlanta's
soon trickle down here.
Atlanta's a different place. Apparently, they say that Atlanta is the gay capital of the world because they do some shit down there.
No way.
I didn't know that. I thought it was the black.
I thought it was Australia.
Or maybe the black gay capital of the world.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll accept that.
But that's So, but anyway,
Because San Francisco's up there too.
They're definitely up there.
them places are not really good.
But yeah, let's kick it off real quickly.
Not up here, bro. Might be up there.
Up here it's Brighton.
Are we live, Jay?
Jay keeps saying yes, so we're gonna go.
Jay don't want to speak today. He's on a
a quiet one.
Okay,
All right.
it's not popped up on my thing, but
He's not even doing the thumbs up thing to say we can go or nothing.
We'll run it
Have
anyway.
you paid
Go.
already?
Nah, you know what I was gonna do. I'd usually do it mid.
This is why we getting this
podcast.
treatment.
You know
that's
where?
why. It's the one
This is why. Jay, I apologize. I have sent my money.
Yeah, everyone's sent. Everyone's paid. I'd say.
All of a
paid.
sudden, he can talk.
Go.
All right, cool.
Yep, we're there live.
Well, welcome to the MT podcast. It's myself, Buddy, in the building. Alongside me, we have.
Man like citrus. Yeah.
To the left on the other couch, we have.
Rain, Bomber Clark Nelson.
Ross back.
Yeah, I'm back. My mum's on holiday.
In the middle, we have special guest in the building.
Fumbi in the house. Just wanted to keep it. No sound effects with this. You know. Just humble. Hi, nice to meet you all.
We'll find something.
We'll find something for you. We'll find something for you.
Fumbi. Find something.
And to the left of him, we have.
Sorelli, ever so slightly broken.
So yeah, we're gonna kick it off with the Reigns Roundup, and we'll come into the reason we have Mr. Funbert in the building.
Just to get us warmed up then, so a few things from the news. Has anyone seen the ex-Liverpool player, Sadio Mane, has got, I think he had his first child, or had another child with a woman. He's 32, and she just turned 19.
Oh.
I haven't seen that.
I saw it on Facebook.
But it's there. So forget about the person.
Okay.
32, 19.
What's the problem?
I'm asking a question.
What's the issue?
I don't understand the
What's the
question.
issue?
I'm asking the question. Is there? So you got no problem?
There's no
with it?
problem with that. No.
Wow.
No, if her parents are cool with it, I'm cool with it.
Nah.
She's older though.
There's one thing. When did they start going at?
She was obviously she was 18. If she's 19, had the
you're
baby
saying
now.
obviously, blood.
Got to be 18. 'Cause
you're
9 months. I'm going back.
She doesn't have to be 18.
Well,
Obviously, it's a religious encounter here. This isn't what he didn't buck her on Tinder. It wasn't a swipe thing. I'm Sadio. It's more of a religious setting where
explain the religious setting. What do you mean?
he's Muslim.
Yeah.
So in Muslim, you can marry. You can take like 3 wives, and there's an arrangement involved. And it's very good to marry off young as well, because whatever I'm paraphrasing here, but it won't be frowned upon in his world. Right. Now, in a society like ours, you see a 32-year-old guy, although, again, 32 to 19, if they work it out, it is not crazy, but it's just you're looking at 19 thinking she's a teen. But when she gets older and he gets older, if they make it work, it's actually a good age gap between a man and a woman, because you're a responsible man in the old days and you have a young wife who's going to bear your kids, etc., etc., etc. But in today's society, it looks mad because 19-year-olds, you think he makes, DM.
I get it.
As you said, when she's 25,
Yeah.
he's going to be what? 30, was it 22?
32.
So he's going to be, when she's 25, he's going to be what, 38?
27.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who's going to...
Yeah.
Who's going to ask any more questions? You get what I mean?
Yeah.
There's something though. He was very eloquent with his explanation, and like he
But
sat down.
it nearly made me believe. I was like, oh, it sounds real good.
Exactly. How many wives have you got?
Remember though, yeah, this is all, it took the goalpost shift according to where you are in society. Now, rich men can pull this off. You're the average Joe in KFC, you do look dodgy.
Bro, I'm sorry. I can't. 19. And I'm 32.
What's 19?
And I'm 32.
Okay,
And
what's
remember,
19 though?
if I remember right, because I remember seeing this in it actually came up in my football group, a Liverpool fan. All right. And it came up that he was, when he got with her, he was getting married to her and she was either 17 or 18. And I was like, rah. But I thought it was all fake. I just thought people were just trying to throw some shade on Sadio. So I said, I don't even care. All right. But now hearing that she's obviously had a kid with her, I'm like, I mean, I'm not down.
I don't see what the problem is.
I don't see the problem.
I'm Nigerian. They tell you like find a young. You want a young something, so that you can. So it's like
What does it stand for?
Africans just use that. You want to, and you're like, I don't know what that means.
I know,
Like,
but I'm not African, so please
oh,
tell me
I
what
there's
is.
no real interpretation. It's just you're supposed to get it, and they just you know what I mean. And you're like, I don't know what you mean. But you go
Rock
with
and
it.
sleep.
Yeah, and, think, okay.
I'm going to tiptoe away from that. On the same thing
Yeah,
with,
please.
with kids. Kanye West.
Oh, the slewing.
He was in the news this week. Well, not even the news. Social media.
Social media.
He basically called Jay-Z's children
A retard.
retards. Now, just a little bit of background. So, One of the children, I think it's Ivy, is in the public eye. The other two are not as much. One, not at all. We believe they may, and again, I don't know. People can correct me. Obviously, we haven't even told people to share the live, but we'll come back to that. One of the children may have a learning difficulty, a mental health condition. We're not sure. So Kanye's gone out and said that.
He also said a lot more though.
That's what I'll focus. I'll start there as a thing of raw. If you were Jay-Z, what's happening?
It's a beef thing.
What happens next?
It's a beef thing.
And
Arms
then
house to your mum's house.
You can mention about the other bit. So what we saying? So Citrus,
I'm learning all this information right now.
right?
Because I don't know. I need to. I think my Twitter algorithm is off because I just get cats playing pool. Do you know? I'm not getting any of this popular culture stuff.
Someone else is using your Twitter, bro.
Bro, I think something's going on. I don't know what's going
Or
on.
just like cats.
For real. But yeah, don't say nothing about another man's use.
From far as well.
Yeah, we no.
So would it change if it's actually true?
Wow. Even if it is true. Even if it is true.
I'm saying.
No,
If
even
I'm
if
not
it-
speaking the truth, I want to know.
Even if it is true,
It's not your
that's
business.
not your thing to share. Do you get what I mean? That's up to me.
Even though
and
it's true.
mine. Even if it's true.
But wow. It doesn't matter. It's like he's gone onto social media and he said that they're retards. The children are retarded. Or we need to find the actual exact quote.
Okay.
But it's the fact of you're bringing a man's
Family into
home life, family into the public sphere, and what if the child is disabled, and what if it is a sensitive subject? You know what I mean? Like people die for less than them kind of things. Just talking about the man's kids. You know what I mean? Like, and Kanye West can say he's bipolar or whatever it is, or whatever the nonsense he wants to say. That's overstepped the line. Remember, he's come. So he said that about Jay-Z. 2 weeks before that, he had a clothing line that had swastikas on him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm not talking about the Hindu one, which is the other way around with the dots in the middle, meaning good luck. This is the Adolf Hitler thing. So it's mad. Like from a man that was so prevalent and influential, and probably still is quite influential, to where he is now, I just think it's wild. It's mad.
I mean, he also went on to say how Kim Kardashian's a sex trafficker, and she's got his kids into sex trafficking and all the rest of it. He went in.
Kanye's weird.
He's weird. I to be fair, sometimes I don't even like giving him the airtime. I'll be very honest with you.
wouldn't either.
But like,
Let's be honest. There's a lot of people out there who should be psychologically evaluated every so often, but they say that geniuses have a little bit of ever so slightly broken in them. So
I
He ain't
don't
no
think Kanye's a
genius,
genius though.
Why are you trying to bring it all into? Nah, bro.
I'm just saying, brother. I don't know why you're.
I can't say he's a genius. I've
I don't
heard
think
that-
he's a genius
I've
at
heard
all.
that before. Like he makes good beats. So does Swiss Beats.
So does Dr. Dre.
you know.
So does
what I
Daz
mean?
Dillinger. You know, like,
them
maybe
man
they're all
them man are
geniuses.
all right.
I don't know.
like he's not
Yeah.
genius.
Yeah, I'm not giving
And
him
the thing
to
is,
you.
you make excuse for Ye because he has money. If an average Joe tweeted that your son is retarded, you're gonna punch
it's
him
war,
in
innit?
his face.
You're not find him.
You're gonna pull up and say it in my face. But because it's Kanye, he might be a bit bipolar. We'll pick which one of your personalities I'm gonna whoop today because it's getting out of hand.
yeah, no, I'm not in support of anything Kanye says. To
Right.
be
All
fair.
right. Moving on. Has anyone seen the drama Adolescence?
Yeah.
You have, right? Great. So Ashley Walters. What's his name? He's so solid. Ashley Walters.
Ashley.
D. Yeah, I couldn't remember. So he plays a police officer. There are going to be spoilers here, so people that are watching this back.
Oh, I ain't even seen it.
Well, you're gonna
Well,
watch it.
I
mean, I watched all of it. It's been out for a
They weren't
while.
gonna watch it.
I know like
Now
that.
they're gonna say spoilers.
Listen. It's your first day, black.
No one even gonna watch it.
We got man that haven't even seen Endgame in this place here,
Right.
Marvel. So I'm talking my thing. So again, for people that are going to be watching this,
You
back,
watch.
this is spoilers.
Yeah,
so you
straight
might
up.
need to just skip forward about 10 minutes. But anyway, so
10 minutes
he's
for
got-
us.
That's the whole show. I'm not even watching no more.
He plays a police.
Yeah.
He plays a police officer. There was a big crime that was committed, and there is a lot of hype about it because it relates kind of to the misogynistic views that some influencers have. Namely, the one Andrew Tate, there's a Tristan Tate, I think his brother is, and then there's a few others that preach it. The reason why I bring it up is that Joey Barton made a comment So Joey Barton is an ex-footballer turned into a pundit for a while.
He played football.
Played for your club.
I'm not into football and I knew that.
He made a comment basically saying because the whole thing is about knife crime, he made a comment saying that the person who casted the boy who stabbed the girl basically was too scared to cast the right person. The right person being a black boy due to whatever reason. So what's you guys' thoughts on that?
What was the actual race of the person who did the stabbing in the picture?
White.
A white you?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a white guy on a white girl.
A white guy and a white girl?
Yeah.
Which happens every single day in England. So I don't understand. Joe Biden likes this stuff though, innit? He likes to come in and try and find a controversial angle and bring some. That's how he said the other day, has Africa produced a defender better than Carragher? You're like, really? This is what we're going to do? So, but that stuff there, I can't lie though. Producers are afraid to rattle black people. They are afraid to say, because people can say, why did the black boy have to stab her? And that will cause something. So there is an element of that. But when it comes from Joey Barton, you can see his agenda behind it.
You know what? I agree with you 100%. I think, and well done. Well done. That
Uncle over there.
It could be anyone, but you're right. I think they were nervous to do it because black folk will complain. Why did you put a black?
I don't necessarily think. Do you know what the funniest thing is? Watching it back, right? And they're gonna say something a bit controversial, and I think he actually says he didn't feel comfortable doing the role. If I remember right, I've heard somewhere that Ashley Waters didn't feel comfortable doing the role. I don't think he should have been the investigating officer. I just don't. I don't. In my vision, I suppose of the thing, I just didn't see him being an investigative officer in such a big crime that would have happened.
Why?
Wait.
I didn't feel that.
What should he have been then?
I don't know what parole I would have given him. I mean, even if he was second in command, I probably would have felt.
Well, why second and not the top man?
I know. Again, like I said, it's slightly controversial, but it's exactly how I visioned it. I just said to myself, I just didn't see. He was so high powered, and it was like, would that really be happening? I'm like, no, I don't think it would.
And you know what? That's TV. Like they do these things because they think diversity is putting a black person in a high position, and then we're happy to see diverse and black people can aspire to be a police commissioner. But diversity and true character nature is you cast them where you would find them. Like you said, a high-profile case, ain't no black people coming to the camera talking about, and we've investigated Sally. Nah, fam. They're putting the best of the best on that. And this country, whether you like it or not, as a family member who. If a white person gets stabbed, white people want to see that white people are on the job. They don't really want to watch a black family like
it's true,
they're getting
though.
him on the job. Same way as a black person, you want a white person on the job because you're thinking they're taking it seriously.
But isn't that the purpose of them doing that? Putting the black guy in the role where he's influential and then putting a white person or a white kid in a position that he's the villain or that. Isn't that the whole purpose of it?
But you have to establish it. You can't just throw it in our face. You have to establish why he got that position.
Yeah, but
how
if
did
you
he
do
even get there?
it's going to be
You know what
6
I mean?
months long. There'll be a
Fair
series.
enough, but you have to give that backstory because to us it's like, how did he get that job?
You know what?
That's how I felt.
Nah. You know what? I'm banned that because that means you're not on having for example, a black Superman. You see, you're the type of man.
I love you to say, what are you talking about?
Hey, have you
Superman
noticed-
ain't black.
Have you noticed, black superheroes save their immediate situation and environment. White superheroes save the world.
Yeah.
We don't save. You know what I'm saying? When the world is falling down, they don't call lightning guy. They call him the
Hey,
big- you
come
understand?
on. Green Lantern was
It's
doing
true.
his thing.
We don't save the world.
Green Lantern was
No,
doing
he's
his
right.
thing.
He's right when he says it. You know, was it Black Lightning?
There has been a couple. That
No,
have
Black
said-
Lightning was saving the ends. He weren't saving. He was.
Yeah, Green Lantern as a superhero was.
The world is never at stake.
No, there was one where the universe was at stake. Adam Bashir, who was, I can't remember what he is, but he's one of the most powerful superheroes in Marvel. But again, you'd have to be reading comics to know
Adam,
that.
the one that The Rock did.
No. That's
Black Adam.
That's a Black Adam.
Is it with Adam Bashir? Which one?
Look, I'm not going to get into it because we've
You know what?
got things to do.
If anyone else is bored, you can switch over. Wow. I ain't got a clue what they're talking about. I'm just with you on this.
Yeah, just relax there. The reason why I mentioned what's his name, Joey Barton, is because a few years ago, his brother, I'm going to get the names, Michael Barton, murdered a black boy, Anthony Walker. And I always make sure that I say the people's names that have been murdered. Anthony Walker. And this is why the irony of what Joey Barton has said is so prevalent. So that's why I wanted to mention it.
And I don't blame him because when knife crime happens, they so plastered with black faces. You honestly, because I gig out of London. So when I'm gigging in Manchester, like, is it safe in London? I'm like, yeah. Because they see these things and think that's what's going on. So to them, it's like, well, I remember during the film, my friend, she gave notes to the director that the brothers were fighting, the two characters. And his notes were, well, wouldn't they just stab each other? And you're like, black boys can fight without stabbing you. But to them, that's the reality.
That's the perception.
All right, I've got. Actually, I'm going to do one more. Anyone know about Natalie B. Fitness? So she was a woman who opened a gym. When she first opened the gym, she said it's a women's only gym. Sorry, it was called. I can't remember what it was called. I'll come back to it in a minute. She opened the gym and she said it was for women only, including transgender women.
I heard this one.
And then there was uproar. And then she changed it and said it's only be for biological women. And now she's getting death threats, closing. People are threatening, saying that you need to close it down and all that kind of stuff. Was she right in changing from it being including trans women to saying, right, only biological women?
She was wrong for that.
For changing?
You got to set your stool at how you go, man. You should have gone with biological women from the beginning.
Right, okay.
You wouldn't have this problem. You said about trans women, you knew what was coming when you removed that title. You know what was coming.
But then, I mean, she's got a point. I mean, the trans thing, it's like the trans and the trans going into jails and stuff like that. Should they be allowed to go into women's jails?
Yeah,
or
but
should
that
they
was
be
not the
into men?
question when you started your business. You said
But it's
trans
just-
people are welcome.
Yeah.
You put that out there.
Yeah,
No one
that-
forced you to do it. You didn't have to do that. You see what I'm saying? So now you're reneging on it. It looks like it's going to cause
But then,
problems.
I can see why she reneged on it, because at the end of the day, women have gone there saying to themselves, well, you know what, it's a women only gym. Women only. You now inviting trans in, are they women? Then the
But the women
controversy
that joined the
starts.
gym must have, she said it's a trans and women only gym. So they must have known they were coming.
The question would be look, it's an issue or whatever, but how many has she done? She did that to get the maximum amount of people in there. How many trans people did she actually have in there? Is the question, and is that even a question? It's like you've done this, you've put yourself into a bit of a hole. And now you want to try and get yourself out of it, and because people are saying, well, I don't feel safe in the gym because ultimately it's a man as a woman, or a man saying that he's a woman and he's in that space, he's in my spaces where I don't know what happens in female-only gyms, but they feel safer in there.
Why should there be female-only gyms?
Because men perv on women when they're working out sometimes. And they want
Sometimes,
to be in
yes.
space.
I wouldn't say that.
If they want it, they want it, bro. Let them have their gym.
No, to be fair, why not? It's not
Yeah.
why should they, it's why not.
Well, it is, why should they?
No,
I don't
Is there a
mind.
men only one?
I don't mind if there's men only gym.
But is there a men only?
probably a gentleman's club somewhere of some sort.
Prison.
Maybe.
No, but what's the point?
You can't go through life saying,
Why? I can't go through life saying why.
why not? You're saying to them, if I want to do something, you're saying to me, why do I want to do that? Because I want to.
All right. So should there
If
be?
I'm opening a business and my business is for 6 foot tall men,
No, it's
then I'm
discrimination.
targeting 6 foot
No,
tall men. That's
I think.
fine.
All right. So I want a blacks only gym.
Yeah.
I want
why
a
not?
whites only gym.
Okay, why not?
It's pathetic. No,
Why?
it's discrimination.
You want only black people in your gym?
we didn't like that when it was back in the olden days, and then
No,
saying,
they
oh,
weren't
whites
giving you
only
air.
or
They weren't
blacks
giving
only.
you free air.
Yeah.
They would take your air from you if they could.
Are you
That's a
comparing
different
the two?
scenario.
Like,
No, I'm saying to you,
That's how you sit over there.
I'm saying to you, it's discrimination. If you're gonna
No, it's
discriminate,
not.
I
It's
don't
not
want-
because it's gender.
30 more seconds, closing points.
I'm saying it's discrimination in it. At the end of the day, I don't think there should be any system where you're saying, especially when it comes to the gym, all right, oh yeah, only women, only men, only trans, only. Why? It's a gym. Go to the gym.
You know, sometimes you got to demand them. You don't want women around. It's not that you don't like women. It's just I want to be with my boys. I want to let my hair down. I don't want someone to tell me, can you not do that much of that? I don't want any like control. I just want to be with the man them. It's the same thing with the gym. They just want to be around themselves where they feel comfortable. No man is looking at them. They're sweaty. They don't feel their best. They don't feel judged. I think that's a fair space. Why do we have to care?
Anywhere where you want to be in a collective of male or female by yourself to do whatever it is you want to do, there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to do that. What you're saying there, that thing is something from 1930 something. You should be able to do whatever you want. There are women who have been attacked in the past and they find it hard to be around men in that kind of capacity. So they should have the ability to be in an area where they don't feel they need to keep watching over their shoulder, or a guy starts grunting and that brings back PTSD or
Right, and he ain't
maybe.
even trying to move to it. He's just running.
He's just grunting.
1 minute, 20 seconds. No, we're moving. We're moving on.
I will move it on.
Go. Yeah, you take the lead now as the host.
You're taking
What
it
I
too
will
far.
say Is people, as if we've started, you know the format, share the live. So while you're doing the intros and you're talking to our guest, which you'll introduce formally, I will be sharing the live. Citrus will be sharing the live, and so will Sorelli in the meantime.
All right, so we'll fly away. So as you can notice, we have a special guest in the building today. He's replaced our resident Nigerian, and we've replaced him with another Nigerian.
Get away from that.
So sitting in the right spot. I mean, slightly more characteristic, I suppose, than Mr. Wiley Boom. But we have Mr. Fumbi.
Sir, thank you for having me, man. It's nice to be on the Empty podcast.
Ah, there you go. There
It's a
we
nice
go.
little,
So we
T-shirt thing you got going. I like the branding still.
might have you in one soon. Might have you into one soon. But I suppose this is your platform now to kind of tell everybody who doesn't know who you are, what you do, where you're from. I mean, a bit about yourself.
I'm from Hackney, East London, born and raised.
Nice.
You know,
Back in the day.
I'm a comedian. That's what I do as a trade. I do stand-up comedy. I travel the world and tell jokes. And yeah, that's pretty much what I do.
What's the biggest thing you've done?
In terms of comedy?
Yeah.
Ugh. I don't know what the biggest thing I've done is. The most challenging thing I've done was I had to do this thing for Kevin Hart's network in Montreal at the Laugh Out Loud at the Just for Laughs festival. So they flew us out to Montreal, and the night before we had to do because we had to do 7 minutes on camera that was going to go onto the app, but we had to do like a rehearsal the night before. And in comedy, you have to practice your material in front of a live audience. So the idea was for me to get my tight 7 in front of this audience. But this is a comedy club in Montreal, and it's French part of Canada. So it's not like they have any perception of a black boy from England. They know black Americans, but my world, I'd have to really create it for them to understand where I'm coming from. But on the night, one of the comics didn't show up. He was the host. So we had to do this old school thing where you announce the comic who's coming on after you as your set ends. It was the first time I realized how difficult it is to remember my name for other comedians. Because I had one Polish girl after me and I forgot her name 2 minutes into my set. And my set was going bad. I just couldn't find the rhythm and it was just dead. I'm sitting backstage just thinking to myself, why am I even here? And Jim Carrey walks in to use the toilet. The whole time I'm sitting there thinking, Jim Carrey uses the toilet still. Like, I thought he was past that. But then I started to realize, oh my God, I just bombed in front of Jim Carrey. Like, I ain't never gonna make it. And so that was the most challenging thing I had to do. Because I had to rewrite my set and really get it, ready for the next day.
One question. Is that somewhere out in that great thing we call the wide web?
It's actually...
It's done some digging.
The clip
was-
is... The
that
clip,
was a practice- that was the
that was
practice
practice
thing,
one.
right? Yeah.
I don't think... Because, this was before people started filming in comedy clubs. So I don't think people filmed it. People were just staring at me like, what?
Is they didn't get what you were saying?
Yeah.
Oh, right. So,
Yeah.
So they couldn't cipher what you were saying with the accent.
The accent, they're trying to piece my name together. I mentioned Nigeria and England. They're like, what? And the punches. Because that black Americans, they have an instant connection to Canada because they're so close. And they watch...
Not now, but yeah.
But they consume such much of their media, they know their references. Whereas from London, it's like, they're like, oh, so I had to change certain things and just do it a different way. Yeah. But that was the challenging part.
So I want to take you back a step.
Yeah.
So you literally gave us your name and told us where you're from.
Yes.
And that was it. I think there's a lot more to the man.
You're right.
So you're from Nigeria, you said?
I'm from Nigeria. I'm Nigerian, yeah.
Born in Nigeria?
I was born in England.
Born in England?
Born into Nigeria.
Born in Hackney?
Born in Hackney, man.
Mother's Hospital?
I was born in
Told
St.
you it's-
Bartholomew's Hospital.
It's
Wiley,
St.
bro.
Bartholomew's Hospital.
Bro, I'm like to say, I was just thinking the same thing. It's a good thing Wiley's not here.
What did you say? Mother's Hospital?
Yeah.
Shoreditch?
No.
No, you mean St. May? Isn't St. May?
No, Mother's Hospital was in...
Lower Clapton.
Clapton, yeah.
And I was in St.
Oh,
Bartholomew's.
yeah. Okay.
Oh,
In the
That's where I was
city.
born.
But my brother was born in Homerton. That's
Okay.
when Homerton was first opened in the 80s.
True Hacknonians.
Yeah, I'm a true Hacktonian.
Are you British-Nigerian or Nigerian?
It's funny because I was having this discussion with my mum one time, and I said to her, I'm more Nigerian than I am British, and she goes, you. And I was like, there's no need for that. You know what I mean? But it's so funny because I thought I was Nigerian because I'm into the food and all of that stuff kind of thing. But
Mr.
I like
Boom.
Chinese food. I like Chinese movies. Don't make me Chinese, right? So if to answer the question, I would say I have to accept I am British-Nigerian because I've lived here the majority of my life. So I cannot ignore the Britishness to me. However, I'm not English.
You're not English.
No, I'm Nigerian. I'm British. I'm Nigerian with British elements that make me. I'm from this diaspora hole, you know.
Right, okay.
Do you even have a Nigerian passport?
Yeah, I do. I don't use
real
it,
one?
but yeah. it's so mad, yeah, because when you travel as a comic and you're going to these countries and I show them my passport, they see my name, they do a double take, like, how you get this passport, bro? I'm like, why is this name on this passport?
So, what are you doing with yourself? As you said, you spoke a bit about obviously your identity, which I think is very important for a lot of people that are watching this because we struggle, especially as black people from or that live or born and raised in the UK. We struggle with that. So, thank you for clearing that up. As Buddy asked, well, this is about yourself. What I'm trying to work out is this is what you like, this is what you don't like, this is what you do, this is how you relax, this is your aims, your aspirations.
Right.
So just to get a little bit more about you, just so, you know what I mean, everyone watching can now understand the character and the profile of Fumbi the comedian.
Well, how I became a comedian was my sister called up Kojo. Kojo's a comedian, and he was looking for black comics at the time. And he put an ad out looking for comics for like 5 minutes to do a 5-minute spot. And she phoned him up and said, my brother will do a spot. And I went on and did the spot. It was interesting then because it was the first time I think I saw a black comedy club. And it was in the basement in Cork's Wine Bar. Do you remember Cork's Wine Bar? It was in the basement. You couldn't have anything better than that. That place was like 200 capacity. Black people were getting it to 400 because, you know, we were sneaking in through the back. But it was the most needed thing at the time because it gave us a place to do our voice where we didn't have to worry about if they got it or not. Like, people would come on and say, I'm Nigerian, and get a round of applause. And you're like, he ain't even said a joke yet. And then that Caribbean Nigerian thing just was born because it was the first time we got to say on a platform to each other. And it just created this great world. And that's how I started doing comedy. And it's funny you talk about identity because the journey was, I wanted to be successful like a star, not like a star comic, but I wanted to make it in the mainstream. So you're on mainstream television and everybody's just kind of, you know, enjoying your comedy. But what I didn't understand at the time was what mainstream television looked like. Because I didn't realize we had an audience of people who got our gags, got our names, got our references, and we didn't have to change that. But when I was aiming for that successful bag, I kind of left that scene alone. I went into the mainstream to start performing in front of, you know, main comedy rooms, which was good, but I lost the audience. I lost the people that kind of got me to doing comedy. And so what I'm trying to do now, I guess, is I'm actually trying to go back to that audience and cultivate work that suits their voice as opposed to trying to go into the mainstream now.
So you're saying you kind of coming away from, like, I mean, obviously I've known you for a long time, and it's like, I know the transition you're talking about, but to explain, help the public understand, it was like he was trying to obviously cater towards the white side of the world, the Western, like the white world, and then coming away from your ethnic side and saying to yourself, you know, I'm not going to cater towards them. So your act was actually totally different.
Yeah.
And in what way would you say it was totally different? Like what things were different for you?
I had to say things they understood. So remember I just did that thing line about my mum said you, and you all laughed.
Yeah.
They would just stare at me and be like, it's the mockery, you know? So I had to structure stuff so they understood, because it's set up punchlines, right?
Yeah.
So you tell stories, etc., you put funny lines in to make the jokes. But with with me, because I have such a background, like you say, like I'm Nigerian, I'm British, there's so much that goes in with that. It's hard to bring that to the forefront without making that caricature. You know what I mean? Without making your parents sound like buffoons. Because once you put on an accent, people just laugh. So I had to stay away from doing accents because I didn't want them to just laugh at the sound of my dad. You see what I'm saying?
But why not?
Because my dad's not a buffoon.
But they don't know your dad.
Right, but I was on the TV show one time. I was doing something for BBC. This was about coloured footballs coloured hairstyles and boots in football. And they asked me to do a piece on it. So I wrote this piece. And the producer put a line in that said, if my dad saw that, he would say, Fumbi, you like a fool, a big fool. That's how it read. So when it came for me to read it, that's how I said it. He came and goes, Fumbi, could you do with the accent? So I was like, my spider sense went off. But I said, you know, I'm going to do it with a mundane accent. I ain't going to just, you know, I ain't going to clown out. I said, and my dad would say, if you see that Fumbi, you like a fool, you like a big fool. He goes, oh, come on, man, you know, how your dad talks. And I was just like, this man's never met my dad. He has no idea how he talks. But what he went was, that's what he would understand as how I'm delivering the line. So that's why I had to be mindful of things like that, because yeah, for him, it's just entertainment. But for me, it's more than that. You know, my parents are educators. So for me to sell them down that road that cheap, I couldn't
like
do that.
I mean, it upset you, but I mean,
don't get me wrong, I did the line.
I was about to say,
I just didn't sleep well that night. And it's funny, my family watched it, and my brother messaged me saying, "Hey, that piece was heavy, but you sold your pops out, bro." And I felt that, man, because they know, and that's the things that were making me think, okay, how am I coming across on television?
yeah, but
there is I really appreciate what you're sharing. And there is a fine line between the two. At the end of the day, how do you stay true to yourself, but how do you also tell a story? And I suppose the wrestling match that you've explained that you're having with yourself is the dilemma where, and I know you mentioned this before we went live, you mentioned about Lenny Henry. And Lenny Henry, he wrote a really good book about what it was like being, do you know what I mean, being black and being young and being a comic and being on Tiswas, I think it was, 70s or early 80s and whatever the case is, and him trying to wrestle with that. And weirdly enough, he had to do the funny accent, but his family were from Birmingham, or no, Dudley.
Dudley, yep. Dudley.
So he was doing the Dudley accent, do you get what I mean? It was like, oh, ha, 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 ha. And there were comics like Jim Davidson, who is openly doing fake Jamaican dreadlocks like Yaman and all of that, and the British comedy loved it. So any more of that you can give, and Lenny Henry spoke a lot about how he wrestled with it, and there comes it's one of two things. It's like, and I'm not saying you have to, but you sell them out to get yourself to the platform, and then when you get the platform, you readdress the narrative. Or you stay true to yourself, which obviously I appreciate. However, you then realize to capture the audience you're trying to capture, they're going to want to know there's a black guy on stage who's got an English accent, who's also from Nigeria. This doesn't make any sense because I'm from Stockport and we don't see that.
Yeah,
so we need to know how you left the jungle, do you know what I mean, and made your way all the way to here, looking like this, sounding like that. Do you get what I mean? So I fully appreciate what you're sharing, and I think it's so important. And I think with black people in society as a general, we talk about things like code switching and whatever else, because for one aspect, if we stay completely true to ourselves, the society won't necessarily understand where we're going or what we're trying to achieve by doing and saying the things that we do and say, versus code switching to make it a more pleasant space for them to understand. However, we still feel we need to exist somewhere in the middle of this medium. So the dilemma that you're sharing, I'm not a comedian, but I can feel exactly what you're saying.
100%.
You know, and I know, you know, my three brothers here, one aspect or another. Do you know what I mean? Like withhold your number and phone buddy's phone, and you'll see, do you know what I mean, a completely different person answer the phone. Do you get what I mean? Like, hello there, hi, good afternoon, good morning, good evening. No?
Is that you, buddy, for real?
Yes. And it's because we're trying to be a bit more palatable for whoever's on the receiving end. Same for Sorelli and the same for Rayman. So no, I do appreciate that, and I think it's the reason why I'm holding on to this point is I think it's so important that there are people, especially our young people. Like I work with a lot of young people, and you know I'll be working, and you know, but the same, we'll be walking into super millionaires' homes, and they'll be walking and saying, "Yo, blood, where's your toilet?" Now the customer's like, there's blood in my toilet. Do you know what I mean? And I look at them, and half of me is like, bro, and then the other half is like, let me see how this fans out. Do you know what I mean? I will be the safety net.
Yeah, of course.
But let me see how you now negotiate yourself through this. And like one of my team comes to mind immediately. But when he found his space, he found it perfectly to stay true to himself. but also a way to be able to communicate and break the barrier down. And this is what I think more people need to learn how to do.
100%.
That's funny you should say that, because as much as I agree with you, you should be able to, you know, almost tread carefully through this minefield and whatnot. I'm very pro, do you, boy? As long as you're not disrespectful. My guy this, my guy that, blah, do you? Because as much as for us, we grew in a generation, we grew in an environment, should I say, where we learnt both sides of the coin. So when we were with man them on the road, we have our jokes. When we walk through the door at home, you know.
That's the biggest code switch.
But forget about the wife home. The home switch is on the next level. And don't make the mistake of accidentally forgetting and talking to one of your siblings, not even your parents, one of your siblings in that kind of, you know.
I mean, some of the young people I work with call their mum bruv. I don't understand it.
This new generation is different.
The phone will ring. Yes, bruv. And I'll be like, oh, well, go on. Oh, Dean, it's my mum. What?
The street kids in Chicago called their mum OG. My OG called me the other day, and I'm like, I thought it was the man.
Yeah, but
That I can understand. It's an OG, older person, blah blah blah. Bit like Ma, I don't know, Marge or something. It's not right. I wouldn't call my mum OG, but
Bruv is wild.
Bruv.
That's madness.
Yeah.
Bruv is crazy.
I feel the strangle.
Bruv.
Do you know when they finish with their mum? One.
Yeah.
Say nothing.
Say less. Calling your dad my guy.
Wow. Bruv.
My guy.
I remember one time my boy called my house. Remember the landlines?
Yeah.
I said, remember the landline. I looked at everyone in.
They're still there.
My boy called the landline. Fumbi. My dad said, when you call this house, you ask good afternoon first. Then you ask for Fumbi. Hey, he called the house every time. I pick up. Good afternoon. Hey, bruv, it's me, blood. But it's that kind of standard we had to call my dad, bruv.
You should bait him up, though.
It's mad. A little thing like that we forget. Like you had to phone someone's house with manners, innit? Now because it's so direct, it's mad what's been lost in the name of, I don't know, not chivalry, just manners, man.
But I mean, going back to the original point, I suppose what I'm saying is that how basically he had to like feels like selling out his parents is what he was saying.
It did feel like that, you know.
I don't know. As a comedian, I'm thinking to myself, don't you just feel like you sell out everyone? I mean, like we sit down and have a conversation. We've probably had conversations inside of the shop, and it was like, right, if I said something that was good material, you probably thought to yourself, right, that shit. And just take it. Like,
right, but it's not selling out though, is it?
It's selling me out. I'm like, right, but I said that to you, whatever.
You said a scenario maybe, and I said, okay, I can make that into a joke.
Yeah.
But me creating a scenario where, okay, I had a friend who did a joke about R. Kelly, and this guy's a good dude, but the joke, I'm just trying to give you context into what I'm trying to say. And he said, you remember Vibe, the song Vibe? Yeah. And he goes, at the end of the names, he starts naming all these names. Keisha's got it. Listen, that won't work with Nigerian names. Can you imagine? Bola's got it. Funke's got it. There's no joke there other than he's putting African names in a Western song. Now you take the rise of Afrobeats. Wizkid now says, oh yeah, Funke, Bakurumo. Now the name works. It doesn't sound ignorant no more. So it's not necessarily that.
Pause.
I was about to say.
I just got to jump in. Even though he said it, I just thought it was words in Yoruba. I just thought Yoruba.
That's because you Jamos just don't know what's up.
You care less.
You might be
I
acting
couldn't
different.
care less, bruv. I sing along and talk to my voice as well.
And we see Buju come out, you might be acting different.
You know what? Tell us.
Yeah, we need because Wiley don't tell us nothing. Wiley don't tell us nothing. So
what do you want me to tell you? What?
We didn't know it was names.
It was names.
All right.
So that's Bakurumo. She says, oh yeah, Funke. He says Funke, Tolani, Halima. Now these are Nigerian names. Now, no, I know these are not the names you grew up with on the Sabrina thing, but in Nigeria,
no, I know
those
Nigerian.
are things.
I knew Nigerian chicks that went to my school in my area, and rare. None of them was called Halima. Funke, yes.
Okay, but that was at home.
yeah. My school she went called Funke.
The other names.
Halima's a Muslim name. Tolani, you must have heard Tola.
Tolu.
Tolani.
See, so what happened is the names got taken, dropped 2 syllables at the beginning and the end, and then we got that bit.
So, so Wiley's not really doing the Nigerian thing, but you are today.
What does Wiley do?
Safe
Let's not do this.
He ain't here right now. We ain't gonna kill my brother like that.
We knew you were here.
It's true, you know.
I didn't know Wiley was Nigerian when I first met him. Until he told me, I was like, right,
I didn't think it was something.
I didn't think Nigeria.
Where? Give us.
I don't know, I don't know.
So
I
a guy
This
named
could be a soundbite.
Wale.
I didn't know him as Wale though. I just know him as Wiley.
So he thought it was like Wiley.
Yeah, it's DJ Katt. So when I saw it, he used to come to the show.
Cold switched his name.
And because he was with Lee all the time, I didn't think he was Nigerian until he showed me he was Nigerian.
Where did you think he was from? If you go back and think, wrong, where was he from?
Don't take
Somewhere in Africa.
No, man, just say somewhere.
Nice.
Yeah, hold on.
No, here's the thing. Remember back in school days, you could say, but nowadays you don't know. Jamaicans don't know any different from Nigeria. Like I could tell Jamaica when I see one, but it don't really look that different.
No, you
in today's
can't.
society.
You can't. You literally said you Jamos. I'm not Jamaican, and neither is he.
Where you from?
You should be able to tell.
Here's the funny thing. Your Jamos to us, but you think me break it down?
No, this is why anyone from Nigeria. This is why.
You don't break it down.
This is why we still,
Have beef?
unfortunately, call everyone the entire continent. It makes
cool.
no sense.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Well, you're just African, innit?
Yeah.
In the continent,
Yeah.
in the country, there are cities in the
Yeah.
city, or there are tribes. Do you know what I mean? And the tribes can be
100%.
broken down. But yeah, you're just African because it's just easier.
We were both educated wrong, to be fair.
Nah, I blame Wiley.
My boys
Man
are
brought out a
right.
new song to me, boy. I was like,
What should I go home?
That's the first thing I'm listening to in the car.
I'm gonna go on Spotify and put it with lyrics.
Wizkid.
You know what I mean?
We've heard the
Yeah,
names.
yeah, definitely.
But that's what I was trying to say was when you put the names in the right context, it's not ignorant no more. It's not wild no more, because why would R. Kelly use Nigerian names in an R&B song for people in America? They would be like, huh?
I don't think it was ignorant for him to say it. I just think it like you said, it sounds funny. It's supposed to pop. I mean, as the comedian, obviously, this is your career. It's like things are just supposed to pop. You just need to make me laugh. Isn't it not by any means necessary?
No, it's
make
not.
me
It's
laugh?
not war. By any means necessary, it can't be any means necessary. Okay, I had a comic. This is what one comic said. This was during the political time. She goes, I keep hearing this left wing and right wing. Black people don't care about no left wing or right wing. All we care about is hot wing. Right. Do you want to
That
hear
made
that?
funny laugh.
But then you know what kind of audience you're working with when this motherfucker.
But I get it though, bro.
I know you get it, but for me, it's like, whoa, did she just reduce black people to liking hot wings in a political time?
Bro, but
So imagine you got to work you're trying to put your little political across. Don't you want a hot wing instead?
Did you get?
You feel insulted.
See, look, but the thing is, if we're going to be true to comedy, you need to be able to pull and pluck holes out of anything. You need to be able to. And for those that want to sit on the fence are those that normally get left behind.
What do you mean?
So what my belief is if I was to say to you guys right now, and take 20 seconds, those at home, take 20 seconds, think of a comic that, alive or dead, that if you can go and see them today, who would you go and see? When you've got your name,
Here we go, Richard
just
Pryor.
raise your hand.
Right, here we go.
You got. I'm saying RP.
There we go.
Richard Pryor, that is.
Yeah.
Right?
Katt Williams.
Katt Williams.
Richard Pryor.
Richard
I
Pryor.
say Richard Pryor. Let's go.
Richard Pryor. Now, Richard
Eddie
Pryor
Murphy
was
in his prime.
completely inappropriate. All of his material, completely inappropriate. I will still go and listen to that guy cuss black British people
Because he's funny as hell.
because he's hilarious and he found a way
funny.
to dissect and then rebuild. Do you get what I mean? So, I remember watching something about woke comedians. I would love to hear your position on that.
The thing is, the term woke comedians, and it's just a term, innit, like woke people. And I understand. It's like when Dave Chappelle is able to dissect popular culture and have good material behind it, people think that's the norm. So everyone wants to replicate that. So it's like football, where you have Pep Guardiola's created a system, but then you have a bad set of managers trying to do it. So it just looks dead. So when you have these so-called woke comedians, they forget the job is comedy. Now, what you're saying on stage, the joke is to have a punchline, not to have an opinion. And a lot of them go with the opinion route. I feel like, there's no joke there, but yeah, I agree with what you're saying, but there's no joke there. So people are like, no, it's just woke comedy. It's just bad people doing comedy. That's what it really is. They're just not skilled enough to be able to find something so risky or something so sensitive and find a punchline with
But
it.
isn't it similar to what you're saying now? So when I've just said to you, by any means necessary, make me laugh.
No, because it's skill. For instance, Jeff Chappelle has a joke about Michael Jackson. And at that time, it was a sensitive topic. And he did the whole thing about touching kids, and they came to his house. And he goes, it hurts me to say it, folks, that's a good host. Now, an average person will not be able to get that fine line or that trust. So you say that night, people are going to boo you. Because you're just not skilled enough to do that. So it's not by any means necessary. Just because you have dark humor doesn't mean you should do it on your come up. You have to earn a lot of license to do that. People have to trust you with your material and your skill to let them go down to a place where they're like, all right, you can test our sensibilities. But if you're ass, they're not going to let you do that.
So are you now at a position where you could do dark comedy?
Not dark comedy, but I can push your sensibilities.
You know what the funny thing is? He's making it sound like it's almost like having therapy from a psychologist kind of thing, because you've got to build that trust to the point where I can now tell you the truth. And the funny thing is, not to take it too deep, I 100% agree, because there are comedians that will say something and it could be funny, but if I'm not invested in you in a way where I trust you, I'm not on.
But this is the exact same point he made.
No, that's what I
about
said. That's what I'm
being standing in Montreal. Do you know what I mean? There was no relationship.
No.
So therefore, you can deliver something which is hilarious, but because we've got no common ground, the punchline's not going to pop. It's not going to bang. Do you get what I mean?
It's like when people say Eddie Murphy should come back and do stand-up. You do realize when Eddie Murphy does a stand-up set, the first 10 minutes, he can say good evening, and it's a standing ovation, because he's Eddie Murphy. If you're the opening act, bro, it's 10 minutes and you ain't said 2 punchlines yet. They're not going to give you that grace. So to get to that, like the woke comics, they do it like immediately.
Who is a woke comic that's out there now? My ignorance, I don't know.
I mean, I was actually going to ask what type of comics now are grabbing your attention, and that's for all of us.
I think Bill Burr released a set the other day that was
Who?
nice.
Bill Burr.
is funny.
He's really good. Yeah,
He's really good. I say he would be considered a woke comic. Well, he actually hates woke comic, but he actually does very woke stuff. Like he talks on social issues and he comes with the points. But he attacks it from the angle of he hates the idea that, you know, these things are like woke people are around. But what happens is woke culture, I think woke comics came from just people, like, you know, like the Netflix specials where they'll talk about social women being not safe, transgender issues and stuff like that, which is great. But where's the comedy in this? You know what I mean? That's fine. You want to talk about black people or civil rights. Where's the comedy? Can you find the comedy in that routine? There's a woman, a white woman, she did a joke about Ted Bundy. And you know, Ted Bundy was a serial rapist and he killed a lot of white women. And she goes, he was helping the civil rights movement to prevent Karens from coming. Hey, I fell off my chair when I heard that. But the way she delivered it, slow pace, and everyone was like, oh my God.
And then everyone get it.
Of course, but to do that. But here's the thing, as a black man or a black person, woman, you might not be able to get that grace. You might not be able to walk that line because it might not sound cool coming from me.
But isn't that what makes you great? Like, you look at Katt Williams, for example, because you mentioned him. Katt Williams said some recently said some outlandish shit, and people you gravitate to the outlandish shit. It's basically what we do. Like, it's funny,
but the investors don't.
But we've had this conversation before.
So you see Katt Williams and Kevin Hart, both came up at the same time, both short, both funny. One talks about pimps, says the N-word repeatedly and uses bitches. One you can take to your daughter's recital and she will love him. TV are going to work with him.
Right, okay.
So you run that risk of being the outlaw. So you can't stand on business like that and say outlandish stuff, but you have to stay with that.
But doesn't that mean you're just not being true to yourself? You're being a sellout and you're...
Because because there's two different... So what's his name? Kevin Hart maybe had a different plan and a different vision. He knew what he had to do. Katt Williams potentially didn't care. Did Richard Pryor care what he was saying at the time? No. He was just going out there to talk shit, but the shit either offended or it didn't.
The funny thing about Pryor was when he started, they kept on saying to him, you sound like Bill Cosby, which he hated. Because he didn't want to sound like Bill Cosby. Yeah. That's why he started saying, you know what? I'm going to start talking how I think about what I think about growing up from P&O in a whorehouse. No one, I don't know if you've seen this his special, Live and Smoking.
Yeah.
that whole period, it's the first time I understood what comedy really was about. Because they weren't laughing. And I was thinking, he's dying. He wasn't dying. They weren't ready for that. They'd never seen anybody talk about that on stage. So they were like, is this guy actually saying this stuff? But it was liberating because no one had heard it.
Right, so we've got social media out there right now. So with social media, and there's got a lot of people that basically make themselves. Like you got YouTubes and stuff like. You don't need an agent no more and a TV platform and all the rest of it to make you a star. You can go home right now and make yourself a star. What stops yourself from just saying to yourself, well, I can be dark, I can do whatever I want. Because I've got my own platform and I'm going to promote and do my own thing.
No, nothing's. I mean, at that time, what stopped me was you're trying to be in the industry. You're trying to be on the mainstream. So how I came out on stage was because, again, I'm going from a black audience to a predominantly white audience. I have no real understanding of how to appear. So I try and make myself palatable. So they don't see me as threatening. So I come across as likable, right? Which I couldn't help, but they really liked me. However, I used to do a joke about I didn't smoke because my parents, when I was a kid, told me smoking causes AIDS. And the punchline was, which was ridiculous, right? Because you can't get AIDS from fags. And that was the punchline. When I did that joke, every producer, every agent, it doesn't suit you. It doesn't suit you, Fumbi. Yeah, it's too strong for you. If Jimmy Carr said that shit, genius. But it didn't suit me. If Michael McIntyre said that, I'd be like, whoa, that's a bit heavy, Michael. The kids love you. You see what I'm saying? So you have to be mindful in television and in the social media world. How you sell your platforms, how they're going to receive you.
But this is the thing. This is what could so obviously you've been in the system for a long time, and it's like when you used to do shows and you used to go out and do shows. Now you don't really need to. So the world's changed, isn't it? You can literally just do things from your bedroom on your phone, or you're just talking about your day, and you can blow from that.
Yeah, but I'm a stand-up comic, not a social media comic. So I do stand up in front of a live audience. I'm still of that art form. Whereas social media is camera work. It's edited, it's rewritten, it's filmed with good lighting. Stand-up comedy is right there and then. It's your material that you've written, you go on stage and you perform it to a live audience. And that can't die because we can just do it on phones now. You know, you still have to respect that art. You still have to give that work because it's still the purest form of comedy. So I don't want that to go. You know?
So you're saying it's something you enjoy. So.
Yeah, it's amazing. When stand-up comedy when it's done well, you saw Richard Pryor when he was on stage, like people go crazy when you just set it up.
I'm not trying to kill that art because obviously people still go to a lot of those shows and we all love to watch them and so on and so forth. But it's more a case of how do I get myself to blow?
But it's not about blowing though. It's not about getting yourself to blow. It's about working in an industry. Because the people who write films and scripts and TV shows, they don't blow. Just what I'm saying, but they're working within an industry where they work on the best TV shows. It's an industry. There's the stars, there's the actors, there's the producers, there's the filmmakers. What I quickly learned being a black person in a mainstream audience was black people always go for the star role. I'm on the set, the guys who are filming this stuff, I'm making millions because they've just filmed this. Oh, we're going to do Games of Thrones next week. Really? And you didn't even know that job was available. But you're trying to be a star all the time. There's writing roles, there's producer roles, there's so many roles that take you on so many journeys that don't involve you having to blow. I think that's a lot of pressure on black people as well. We always think it has to be a grand gesture of success, when it really doesn't have to be.
So does that mean you're trying to be the Winston of comedy?
What's the Winston?
That guy on EastEnders.
Oh, hell no. Actually, you know what?
It's actually quite good. Well done.
I think the British industry does need visionaries like a Spike Lee did or an Esticus in America, where they understood that black art is important, so they created it for their audiences and it became beamed to the world. We definitely need that here. More black TV shows that are written by black people. More shows that are completely about how we came up as from our parents, from us now, to the things we actually face as adults, because we're older now. Do you know what I mean? You got people who have lost spouses, who have lost children, your parents are getting old. So when black people are writing about our experiences in this world, it's always centered around race and how we don't fit into a white society. What I'm trying to reach to is, with comedy anyway, is writing about how we actually just mundane day to day, just our lives.
I mean, something obviously I guess these guys don't know, maybe the audience don't know, is that you do writing as well.
Yeah.
So, I mean, then my question is, as according to what you just said, is why have you not put something out on that? Like,
I'm self-producing.
You're self-producing?
I'm self-producing. I'm working on something. I wrote a short film during the pandemic.
Wait, exclusive?
Yeah, exclusive still. I wrote a short film called Knock Knock.
I'm an actor still.
You see, stuff like that I like to capture, because people forget how black people, like back in the day, like I wrote a line about how if we all go, because there's the thing, like everyone used to say, when you go to America, and blow. Like if I go to America, who's going to tell our story? Like who's going to bring back the word shiners? Do you see what I'm saying? Right? And my friend was like, man, I hear shiners in a minute. I was like, exactly. But that's our world. Do you see what I'm saying? Whereas Americans used to have their little things, we had our little things. But those things die if we don't tell that story. And that's what I'm trying to capture now. That's what the experience was on the mainstream taught me, how to go for yours as opposed to try and assimilate to theirs and bring your own source and substance. And if it's done properly, we have an industry.
So let's get to some juicy stuff now, and then kind of, because he's on some fluffy. Is there anything you won't say? Have you drawn for exes and kind of exposed them and things like that?
There's definitely things I won't say. Like when I first started, it was Africans and Caribbeans. Even the way I approach Caribbeans now, I would not say the things I would say before. Like I'm so much more older now, but there was definitely things I wrote then I was like, nah, I can't say that.
Why?
Because it's too offensive.
Frigate.
Nah, it just wasn't me. I had some really bad, like, ooh, nah, I can't say that. But then there's some things, you know, you reach for, but I never aim to, I'm just not that kind of comic. I don't aim to offend. I'm here to tell jokes. Some people have that, you know, that skill. Like, I had one white dude I knew, he was bent on saying the darkest comedy, but he was good at it. Like he was talking about waterboarding. He said, what people don't actually tell you is the first 2 liters are actually good for you. And the audience was just like,
Did he just say
but
that?
he loves that stuff. He likes the audience to not want to laugh. Like he's like, I'm not for everyone, people. I'm not for everyone. But that was his game. I couldn't do that.
Why?
It's just not me. I don't think like that. It doesn't come into my writing, you know, mind to be that dark. You
I mean,
know?
I've heard you say some dark stuff before.
What? Like what's dark stuff? Like Liverpool are rubbish? That's not dark. That's not dark stuff.
Don't tell him that, you know.
I'm still emotional right now. What's wrong with you? But have you ever used comedy to get you girls?
I think the question is, how many times have you used comedy?
No, I think the question is, what line did you use?
Yeah,
It's
drop a
funny
couple bars on
because,
the man.
obviously when you're in a popular position, you get groupie love in it, and it's different from musicians and rappers.
Sorry, we're not comedians. We
Groupie love.
It's interesting that women come to you, but they want the comedian.
Because they always say they want someone to make them
Yeah,
laugh.
when a woman sees an R&B singer or a rapper, they want to smash straight away. You know what I mean? With you, they want to keep in touch. So when their day's not going well, just send you a little message. Hey, cheer me up. So you know, however,
is real.
don't get it twisted. Comics have been on the streets. You know, I know. You know, I find it hard to do that with fans because they come with you with such reference. Like, you know, I really like what you're doing. You're like, I can't be a dog. You know, I have to. Be
So you've not used your comedy status to get you.
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. I said I struggle with it.
He writes a joke after he's done it.
I said I feel bad.
Writes a joke about it.
Yeah. Someone asked me that, do you make jokes during sex? And I was like, come on, man. Like, I'm a human being, not a fucking... It's like asking Messi, do you do kick-ups? Would you think of a header when you're in... You know what I mean? It's like, no. But yeah, it's not something I do, like, yeah, comedy. Because also, it's a bit weird, you know? Because you're not the person you're on stage, off stage. It's a character that you've created. And
Yeah, but then I mean, not with everyone, but to some people find it hard to talk to females. So they might think to themselves, how do you approach them? With obviously the fact you go on stage, the fact you're a comedian. I mean, if they turn you down, you just probably just think, okay,
nah,
and
man,
walk
I
away
get enough
from it.
rejection from being a comic, man. From a woman, it's even worse.
Is it?
Yeah, I don't use comedy to talk to women. No.
So you turn into the Barry White serious thing when you're trying to...
You know, when the bass comes in.
Yeah.
I just do what Jamaicans do, man. Just repeat what you lot say.
We're supposed to keep around the room.
I'm not Jamaican.
When I make Jamaicans, you know what I mean?
Only Caribbeans.
Yeah. You might have the gift of the gab with women. So
And you ain't got it. Fuck it out of here.
Africans are not like Jamaicans, man.
Nigerians ain't got it.
Nigerians, it's more, you know, aggression. You know, what's your name? Come on, talk to me, man. But Jamaicans are slick, man. Well, baby love. Like,
No, in there, but the difference is the timing.
Right.
You should know about with timing and comedy.
Yeah.
Jamaicans have a timing. Africans may not have that timing.
Right, I agree.
It's aggressive and it's quite fast. The same line will come from a Jamaican, and then there's the persistence.
right.
The persistence potentially gets a lot of Caribbean men through, potentially.
There's one thing you're missing, though, Rain. When a Jamaican or somebody from the Caribbean is trying to pursue a woman, they will give you a compliment that most people will think is an insult, but do it in such a way that the woman still appreciates it.
And maybe that, it's
You're fat like a juicy plum.
I heard Jamaican's pick-up lines in Jamaica is wild.
But it's outlandish, isn't it? The outlandish is almost comedy. So the woman that you give that outlandish line to thinks, what did you just say? That's funny. Let me give you 3 more seconds. and in that 3 more seconds, you're hit with another 2 things that make you laugh. That 3 seconds turns you into a minute. Then you have a conversation. Jamaican men haven't got the time, or Caribbean men haven't got the time to have an elongated conversation. After the 3 minutes or the 5 minutes, it's what's your number? And then we do the talking afterwards. When they got the number, it's secured.
Taking notes.
Are you Jamaican?
Oh,
You
yeah,
know what it reminds me of? You know that bird that dances for the partner? Just hypnotize you for a couple of seconds so you get distracted.
It's the black widow, innit? That kills the husband.
No, it means a peacock.
Oh, it's a peacock. It's the peacock. Yeah.
Because you're there telling you, so you get the number in there, and then afterwards you continue your.
Well, why are you trying to secure the bag in the first conversation? It's lunacy. Doesn't make sense.
You got to leave it after that and then call it after.
Yeah, exactly.
Park it.
You splurge.
My guys are the old pros.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like I said, taking notes. You know what I mean? The no comedy in that. You don't need to put any comedy in there.
But most men are funny though.
Yeah, and chat up lines off. Like if you've ever heard the Cockney guys out on road chirps and gal.
It's hilarious.
I haven't even got any, but I can't even think of any. But their bars are
And they're
hilarious.
forward as well.
Yeah.
They're very forward.
You ever been with someone that like a girl that's just humor? They're funny, like a comic. Not necessarily a comic like she does stand up, but she's funnier than you, and you're with her.
Funnier than me.
That question.
Challenging the man.
Funnier than me. How we gauging that? It's funny. Women are funny though, innit? In their own way, innit? Like in a different way from banter. Obviously, they don't like our type of banter, but they have their own. But I don't go for girls who are. I don't want.
You don't want no humor in
I
it.
don't want to clash. I mean, Stormy doesn't want to date an MC and at home we're going back and forth on bars.
Back to back,
That's
bro.
long. I want a person that's not even interested in comedy, you know?
Is it?
Yeah, because in that way, it's just
So you
conversation.
want one serious girl? She just you do the work over there, and I'm gonna be a clown.
Looking at you like, what? You get paid to do this?
That's what I'm saying.
I'm gonna be the funny girl. Sorry,
You know what
I'm gonna be the funny one. You're gonna be the
But-
perception.
But I'm not a comedian in life. In a human, do you know what I mean? I'm just Fumbi. Like some comics are naturally funny. Some people are just good writers and stuff and good performers. If I'm bantering, it's not because I'm doing comedy. It's just because I'm enjoying the vibes. Do you see what I'm saying? But people think I'm doing a skit or is that going to be your next piece? Nah, I'm just having fun.
Yeah, but people don't. You got to remember, like people. I know you in it, like, but people that don't know you or don't know comedians as friends wouldn't know to themselves. If that's how you are on stage, that must be how you are all the time. There must be always a punchline coming. Every time we talk, there's a punchline. He's gonna say something funny. I mean, I know that's not the case, but. You know what I mean? As somebody outside of that will probably perceive that that's how people are. Like, and then at home when you're with your wife, you're probably at home. There's always going to be something funny going on in that comedian's house. Like, if I think to myself, what's Kevin Hart's home like right now? I'm thinking about when you see his Insta and all the rest of it. I'm thinking, well, they're always having jokes. There's got to be jokes coming from you. So when we look at you, it must be jokes coming from you.
I don't think every comic's like that though. Like Chris Rock, I don't think everyone think that they must be running joke in his house. I think he's quite serious. They're discussing the news and the politics and because he's a serious person. But on stage, he makes jokes. So for me, I'm a naturally funny person. So it can look like I'm trying to catch joke, but it's not. I'm just enjoying the vibes like most people who have vibes do. But for comedy, it's more when I'm on stage, it's work. Like it's not fun for me. It's fun for the audience. For me, it's torture.
You don't enjoy it when you're
No, I do enjoy it, but it's not fun. It's work.
You're actually
I'm
concentrating.
actually working. I'm actually trying to process this. Because sometimes it might not be going well. And I'm trying to figure out what's going wrong. Or my voice might be dry. Or, I might be stressed that day. Whatever reason, at that moment, I'm working. And I have to be 100% to enjoy this work. Otherwise, it's going to show in the performance.
So if you're bumming, do you not just cut, just allow it?
Do you mean bombing?
I was waiting to see where it was going with this
Went
thing.
too much on this one.
We don't do that in comedy.
Let's pass the mic on, man. Buddy's on some different type of
Bombing.
I mean, it depends. Every bomb is different. Every bomb presents a different challenge. Some people can be talking. Sometimes if I'm bombing and I know and I blame the audience, I slow my material down and I do my really uncomfortable white stuff. Yeah, because I want them to feel it.
When did you decide that you was going to go on this journey to be a comedian? Because it's not. I read. I don't know if it's proven, but they say that comedians are supposed to be quite intelligent because you have to read so much information to be able to put it into jokes. So at what point, I'm not going to ask you your age on camera, but let's just say you are in your 30s or whatever it may be. What age did you decide, right, I am going to be a comedian? Not that you're going to take it professionally, I'm going to be a comedian.
When I was 24.
Right,
I was 24 and again, it was just a case of, growing up in Hackney, I didn't want to be a statistic.
Jokes every day in Hackney, innit?
Listen, just being on the road, innit?
Yeah. I went to college in College of North East London, around the corner.
Oh, right, okay.
So I went to college in Amandem.
Right.
And
Didn't learn nothing there then?
no. I said I went to college. I don't know why we went.
Common room.
Yeah, common room, obviously. Bare friends. And it's sad because I look back then, I realized that I was feeling it like, man, we gotta want more from life, right? Like, we gotta want more. And I didn't know what I was gonna do, but my sister called. I went to drama school actually before I went to comedy in Canada, and I did some drama work. I came back to London, did another one, but comedy was the one time that I felt like, oh, something can happen here. And when Kojo started that comedy club, it just took off from that, and I just said, all right, cool. I wasn't serious at the time because it was still young, but it was that time I started doing stand up.
Was you funny in
School.
Yeah, in school. Do you know when they say, again, I said it earlier on, but as a joke, but there's a class clown. And they're like, oh, the class clown. So you're at the back of the room making the most jokes, whatever else not. Is it that guy that's now the comedians?
Man, I wasn't the class clown, man. I was a cool kid in school, man. I wasn't no class clown. I ain't for no jokes.
Tell them. Tell them.
ain't no joker. I wasn't the class clown, but I was part of the funny people. Like I wasn't, you bust jokes around, but I didn't like people.
Was you the funny guy? You sound like you was the funny guy.
It's funny. I went to school in Nigeria. Everybody was funny. On your off day, you catch a stray. You had cussing contests.
But is it that, because I say this to my son. My son's 11, and I say like we're going to Jamaica in a couple of weeks, and I am on the thing of if you sit in. So my parents are from St Mary, just outside, and then you got Ocho Reyes. So if you sit in the town centre and you literally just sit down there with a cream soda and just watch, you will die. Like
Facts.
the comedy that comes from it.
Facts.
So is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and that's what Pryor took to the stage.
Right, okay.
His neighborhood. He said the people in his street are funnier than him. Because when they sit down and just be, you're just dying. It's like when you go to the barbershop and man's are just busting joke. Like I just thought, yeah, everyone's cool. Stand up is a skill in terms of it's actually a talent. You have to have a talent for it. Do you see what I'm saying? But everyone has funny in them. When you go with a man, they're just busting jokes.
Yeah, but this is the thing, and it kind of brings me onto it, is that I'd sit there and say, all right, then us man them are here. We're obviously not comedians at your level and that. I think we're funny. I think a couple of us could end up being comedians. What's your advice to say I can be a comedian? I can do what Fums does. It's not easy, but yeah, I can follow that route.
With it.
Yeah,
Go right 5 minutes, take it to the stage,
Man told you went to school, drama school. Come on, man.
and do a piece on it. Like, and here's the thing: when my sister called Coach, I didn't know I could do stand up. Everyone just told me I'm funny. Like, you're funny, you can do this, you can do this. I didn't believe it. I thought, you had to be a genius to be a comedy because I thought you had to make jokes up on the spot. I didn't know this was pre-written. I didn't know you repeat jokes too. So I didn't know none of that. So I thought, there's no way I can keep making jokes on the spot. But once I understood the process of it and I was able to write more, I had the talent for it. Do you see what I'm saying?
I've got $1 million question, and you've probably been asked this a million times, so I do apologize. But coming from a Nigerian family, how did it go down when you had that conversation? You looked at your dad and you said, I'm going to drop out of college. I ain't doing whatever it is you're doing. I'm not following your footsteps. I'm actually going to pursue a career.
You ever had those ones? You ever had them ones where your parents look at you and know, I didn't give birth to a surgeon. Why kid myself? You know, I didn't give birth to the next Messi. I think my parents, being African, they were quite liberal, and my older brother's a singer, so they're already prepared for.
So he laid the path for you.
Well, I actually made the path for him because he wasn't going to do it. He actually made, because I'd taken the risks, but because my parents were just like, we just want you to do what makes you happy, which is weird for Nigerian parents.
Yeah, you're not African. All of a sudden,
It's English, isn't it?
all of a sudden, I want Nigerian back.
But here's the thing: they thought I'd grow out of it. They thought it was a phase. So my mom was like, one time my mom was like, when are you going to get a job? I was like, girl, I got a job. But it didn't hit until I invited them to a show. It was a Nigerian show too.
No way.
Yeah, so I was performing and I invited him to the show and there's Nigerians in the room. And I killed it and I mentioned my parents. I did a routine about my parents. And I mentioned my parents. I said, my parents are here tonight. In Nigerian culture, you big up your parents in public, you're a great son. You've done well. And my mom went to the bathroom, people were queuing up to shake her hand. Then she was like, I'm proud of you, you're a good comedian. You have talent. So they had to see it to believe it, you know? Right. So it was those kind of things.
How soon after did they ask you about how much you get money? How well does it pay?
It's funny because my parents don't, my parents are Christians, so they're not looking for a star, they're just looking for me to be married.
Raw.
They just like the simple things in it. So they don't care about a big house or anything like that.
So right now, you're pissing them right off.
No, they can't stand me. They look at me like, let us down countless times. Doesn't matter what show I'm doing, where I'm traveling to, who I'm working with. They're like, hey, but you know. So
the jokes are not that funny.
Yeah. But when they see you on television and their friends are quoting, I had a joke about my dad that she loves, they start to believe in what you're doing. Do you know what I mean? But I didn't have that conversation per se. Like, can I be a comedian? I don't think they'd have just laughed.
So, being a comedian, and Buddy brought this up to kind of find out things, because you said, yeah, they want you to get married and whatnot. How do you actually approach a woman, and when you say to them, I'm a comedian, now obviously times have changed from how it was before. When you tell somebody you're a comedian, they're like, yeah, all right. We gonna be, let's eat quick. Do you find, how do you find it in the dating pool now, how it is out there, and, you know, being a comedian in that kind of arena?
I think everyone's different in it, in the sense where some comics stay comics, and I wouldn't do that. But I think it's more, like you said, you know, in this day and age where women are, you know, I don't want to say women, you know, people are looking for CEOs and, you know, the ready-made man or whatever a high-valued man looks like.
No, people that are rich, men that are rich.
Yeah.
Just be candid.
The money thing is attractive to men these days. I think when people hear comedy, if you're not a star, they're thinking, so how do you, whatever. But like I said, you have to see what I do to understand what I'm doing. And again, it's not about being a star, it's about being in an industry. There's stars in this comedy game. There's people who you see who can't sing great, but they're selling millions of records. There's people who can sing amazingly, and they can't even get a backing gig. So you have to know where you fit in and make people understand, I'm a comedian, I work, I write, I produce, I do stand-up, I travel. So those things are how I work. Do you see what I'm saying? And it's not a thing where I'm trying to impress you with, I'm a comedian, I do set out tours, and I'm not really like that. I'm just more like, this is what I do. And if they do get rude, I ask them what they do, and like you said, I'm a comedian, and just tear it apart.
So that's how his dates end up
how I
bumming.
stay.
So you bully your date.
If you chat shit, watch
And
what
that's
I'm
the
gonna
thing,
say.
yeah.
I'm
Like,
like,
people
right,
want
right.
to see the comedian in it, but when you bring it out, like, oh my god, like, well, don't trigger me then, innit? Like, you know what I mean? Like, keep it civil. Like, don't try and make jokes with me or try and outwit me, and then we'll be cool.
PTSD.
Have you two questions? Have you been heckled? Yeah. And if you have, how did you deal with that?
It's interesting. Every heckle has its different. Sometimes, because people don't know, heckle is just someone talking during your set. So sometimes they heckle you with a good thing. Like, oh, so somebody say my name. What does it mean? And you're like, oh, I ain't got time for this. So sometimes, if I don't have time, if I don't want to talk to the audience, when people start talking, I say, hey, listen, guys, just quickly, I don't know if you noticed, but it's racist to talk when a black man's on stage. That kills the room.
Right, okay.
That gives me the attention for 20 minutes. You know what I mean? Then I say, I'm joking. It's not true. But then they're like, all right, let's listen.
They don't want to. Yeah.
They don't want to get into that. But heckling, sometimes, but again, another one, I was doing a set and this girl heckled. This guy was talking with his girlfriend. They just kept on talking. I just couldn't shut the fuck up. I just said that. I was pissed. I was tired. And the room went quiet. And I was like, oh shit. They've just seen a black guy on stage. They didn't know. To the point when I went backstage, the comics were like, you can't do that on stage. Like they're gonna freak out. I was gonna stab them. Yeah, so I had to be mindful of how I deal with hecklers.
But then don't, like you're talking about heckling, like, you know when people come in late and then someone's just trying to say, you know what, I'm just gonna make a scene out of you because you're getting on my nerves.
Not a
so I'm
scene.
gonna start.
This is the thing. People feel like comics go on and be mean. Not a scene. I might banter with you. Do you see what I'm saying?
Nah, they make a scene, blood.
Make a scene.
That's what I'm just saying. You're trying to sound
Kane Brown.
You're going with
Makes a
Kane
scene.
Brown.
Yeah.
So Kane Brown is killing everybody. That's his MO.
For no
If
reason.
you're walking with me, I'm like, hey, how you doing? You late? What happened? And we'll get into a conversation. I won't be like this. What kind of shirt is that? I'm not that kind of comic. You see what I'm saying? And some people can clap back. You know,
Yeah.
like some people are not really funny, mate, and then now you're in trouble. Oh, now you have to go double down on him.
Yeah, 'cause now
the
you have
shot's
to
gone
show
left,
what for.
Now the set's gone
They're
left.
trying to get their money's worth.
Yes, but they're here to see you entertain. Like, some people want to be stars, in it. Like I've had people come up to me, my friend's in a wheelchair. Make sure you make fun of him. I ain't got wheelchair jokes.
Would you want to do that?
No,
To
what
go
do you
viral
mean?
and
Why
get shut
not?
down.
Because I can't.
So you can't-
No,
he's not on it.
first of all, the audience don't know about this. You've come to me on a private thing. So my boy's in a wheelchair, rip him. So I've come out, hey, we doing that wheelchair? Up here have a car crash. The audience is like this. Oh my God. They didn't know we had a conversation before. They're thinking, no, he's speaking in a wheelchair, brother.
Yeah, but you're a comic. You're supposed to think on your feet and be like, wait, weren't you the guy that was running me? I'm making some backstory to.
Again, it's all about license and trust. If the guy in the wheelchair says, can you rip me apart? Pause. Then you can say, all right, cool. He's asked for it. But I can't just walk on and be like, hey guys, how you doing? Oh, wheelchair dude. Oh my God. Someone give this guy easy access. They just be like, oh my God, is this how we're starting?
But like I said,
I think I'll be great as a comic.
oh no.
Probably going to get cancelled after my first 7
get paid
minutes. I'll probably smash it and then get cancelled.
Because-
what's your thing then? So what is your avenue going to be?
So so for me, it'd have to be observing.
Yeah.
It'd be observational, and I would hope that the speed that I process information and be able to relay that information is quicker than whatever's coming back.
Your opponent.
So, for example, you see the guy with a wheelchair, and you go, "Can you do a wheelie?" Do you know what I mean? That may or may not be funny. However, I'd say I tried a wheelie, nearly ended up like you, bruv. Do you get what I mean? So you all right. But you have to stay on. You have to stay on side. But I appreciate when you say. So me even saying that out loud, when you say certain things, if the crowd turns the corner, you have to find a way
To bring them back?
of bringing them back.
No, that's admitting defeat. If I'm on a dark
no,
thing
no.
and I'm ripping you like man, I'm following that. I'm going down with the ship.
Patrice O'Neill used to do that. He used to come on and piss off the audience to where people start walking out. Then he'll try and win the audience back.
Yeah, I'm not trying to win you back.
Patrice O'Neill, he'll try and win it back by doing good jokes. He used to say that. I try to piss off the audience and see if I can win them back again.
That's when you're
Just to test himself.
That's a different level of
Yeah. Because but another thing is, it's the only way he actually operates in that realm really well. That realm of uncomfortable things you shouldn't. He says things you shouldn't. You can't even imagine. He will just go there. He doesn't mind. You see what I'm saying?
But and this is the thing. Like even like sometimes when we're on the podcast, I mean, I'll be very honest. Over the last 6 months, I think our podcast has gone from 18 to a 15, 15 to a 12A. You know, it's kind of the tone has been dialed down.
They said I couldn't say bomber clout on the team. That's why. Yeah.
I didn't.
It wasn't me.
I didn't. You can find it.
I will find it. I will find it.
But for me, I like living much closer to the edge. However, you have to be quick enough, and if I fumble, my boys around me need to be able to scoop it back up and then keep the juggling act going on. When you're on stage, I presume you only have you to rely on to do that. Do you get what I mean? So if things do go wrong, you have to find it on
It's
your
your
feet.
responsibility.
Yeah,
Because you're on the stage, yeah.
to make it work. But I just think back, and obviously for those that haven't, go check out some of our old clips on SoundCloud. There are probably 70 to 90 different old podcasts on there. Some are absolutely brilliant.
All of them.
All of them. But and it's being able to do so. So if we hit a topic that's quite controversial, one sitting on one side of the fence, one sitting on the other side of the fence, and we're going at it, and there's energy in the room, sitting back and observing it, I think is magic. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
And that's what the safety of the brotherhood gives us on the eMpTy podcast. You're on your own when you're out there. So that safety has to come from within. The faith has to come from
From what
within.
you're saying, yeah, and the belief in the material, that there's a punchline coming. When you say with what comedy, sometimes there's no punchline coming. So I'm just sitting there listening to how you feel about Palestine versus Israel. And it's like, oh shit, this is just how he feels. There's no jokes.
It's political.
It's political. and that is your opinion. And some comics double down, like if you're not laughing, you're part of the problem. So now you've made the room really just weird, uncomfortable. You know what I mean? And then you might get a heckler saying, "Oh, shut up," and then now you address that. Oh, disrespectful. You know what I mean? So it's always, unfortunately, in the world, like you said, the podcast, you feel like it's toned down. It's because of the world we live in, right? Everyone's so afraid to say the wrong thing.
100%.
And even comics go through that. You know what I mean? Like I had a joke about women, and I talk about the Women's March. And I say I went to the Women's March, not for the cause. The ratio was crazy. But the punchline I worked on, which was a really good punchline, but I hesitated every single time, was, yeah, man, they had all types of women there, even the new ones. And I left it at that. Every time I said that joke, if I'm around like working class drivers and that, that's a good one. Around the middle class social justice people, they're like, no. What do you mean the new ones? Right. What do you mean the new ones? But it's actually a funny line. I've just called them, they are new, you know, in that sense. But because of the sensibilities around the world, they'll pull back. I had another one about just saying how I'm fat. Like also, it works if you self-deprecate. So if you bring it on yourself. So I'm saying like, I'm fat, man. I need to lose weight. I said I need to lose that Christmas weight. But then I checked my Instagram and I realized I've been fat for a minute now. You know, it's not just the Christmas. This is just me. Then I say you can't say fat no more. You go say fluffy now, or you know, big. And I'm okay with that. I'm glad fat people have found their voice. Because I've been talking about marching before. I said I think fat people should march. It's a good thing, right? In some rooms, if there's a fat person there, I don't do it.
You don't?
If she's in front, I can't do it.
Sorry, you're weak. I'm sorry, I have to call you weak.
I agree,
Yeah,
I'm weak.
that's
I'm a
weak.
bitch
Bums,
ass.
man.
But you know what?
You have to do it and
I
look
think
at them. You got to make eye contact.
See, I look at it and I'm like, I can't do that job. You can. I can't go there. I can't.
So there's things you don't do.
Sometimes I just leave it.
I'm definitely gonna be bad at being.
Brother,
I thought I was gonna be good. I realized I'm gonna be bad.
I'm telling the joke.
Of course.
Yeah, I would as well.
I would say,
Trust me,
I would say,
man.
let's go on a march. You can follow me.
Oh
You know what I mean?
keep up.
You're the man thing. It's when
In
you're
fact,
like,
you can be in front. Everybody follows her.
I bottle that. The new ones I don't even use. That fat one, sometimes I'm like, all right, you know what? The fat person's like 5 rows behind. You know, she won't take it personal. But if this in front, allow it.
But you know, isn't there a thing that if someone pays money to go to a comedy show, you have to expect that there is going to be uncomfortableness, there's going to be uncomfortable jokes, and some of them jokes may not be politically correct. It's almost like a comedy club is almost like being at Speaker's Corner. Speaker's Corner, you can say whatever you like and you have to allow it. In a comedy club, for me, it's the same thing.
I've had people complain to the promoters in this day and age, you know, he said this about those people. And you're like, did you even hear the punchline in the context? So sometimes it's more like, I can't deal with this, you know, like, I'm not here for someone to come up to me afterwards crying like, I was fat for 6 years and you just brought trauma onto me. And then people are tweeting about Fumbi's doing fat jokes. And
But then you never do no jokes.
Yeah.
I know. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes I double down on it. But what I'm saying is, there's times when, because of the environment we live in, because of the times we're in, someone posts a clip of me on Instagram saying wild shit, people are never going to look for context.
But was it? All right, so
But for me, you're my hero. I like the fact that you get paid to say whatever
feel.
you want. I mean, I would love to get. Wait, that's like wait. You wake up in the morning, you write some things down, and you're like, all right, you know what? That fat.
was it?
That blind bastard, yeah. That disabled dude took my sweat. Yeah. Why are you not parking so? Like you've got so much things in the world that people are unhappy about.
But the world has changed now, though.
Yeah,
They've told you what you can and can't say.
Run the world. It's about you. Run the world. It's about you. You get to sit back and almost pick at things.
I mean, I don't agree with you because ultimately, if you do not move with society, you alienate yourself.
but it's a crowd
And
for
if you-
everything.
True.
No,
It's a
but
double-edged sword.
if you alienate yourself enough, then your crowd populace may only be around Hackney. And how many performances you going to do a week to sustain yourself if you can only tour in the town you grew up in? It doesn't make any sense. So it needs to be acceptable, or you know what you came for.
Yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the other side of the
Like
coin.
Bernard Manning was a comic in the back in the day, white comic.
80s, yeah.
Yeah, in Manchester, and his shit was just offensive to everybody. I liked his stuff because it was offensive, but it was well thought offensive. You know what I mean? It was just you'd be like, fair play. You know what I mean? But he had his own crowd, and he was selling out Manchester every single weekend because people wanted to hear that shit.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's not like that. People want to hear positivity. People come on stage now and they're like, I'm a trans, bi, goat. Okay, that's not good for you. No jokes there. You know what I mean? Just introduce yourself. People want to be acceptable in a comedy club. Not that I'm saying it's cool. It's just I'm just aware of it.
But all right, so remember, I'm bad with names, so I apologize, but you'll know straight away as soon as I say it. The white guy that is it Shits and Giggles went on
Andrew Schultz.
Yeah, and he obviously after they effed up, all right, because they blatantly messed themselves up, all right. He then turned and said he replayed their thing and said that of them apologizing and said, you do not apologize for comedy. Comedians do not apologize for what they say.
But they were comedians.
That's what I was going to say.
But he said, when in his statement, that's what he was making. Like, you lot are being funny. This is what we do.
They weren't being funny. He was being funny.
Yeah, he's saying, as a comedian, I'm not apologizing.
He doesn't have to apologize.
Yeah, he's saying, I'm not apologizing. So then, where are you now seeing to yourself that you're going to be on stage, you see the fat person at the front, you're making fat jokes, I'm a director, you're sitting at the front, you came to be entertained, you're sitting at the front, I'm going to make some jokes.
Remember when Kobe died? And the news reporters were saying, we have to say he was charged with sexual assault. And people were like, why would you say that when he died in a helicopter crash with his daughter? Gayle King said that. She was interviewing Lisa Leslie and put the question to Lisa Leslie. Snoop didn't like it. Snoop jumps on Insta Live and calls her a funky-headed bitch. He had to apologize the women bitches his whole life. He built a career on it. No one cared then. So the moment he was in the system and he used that language, he's out of here. So what I'm saying to you is, it might look good for Andrew Schultz. His business is that.
Yeah.
He's anti. So no one's going to worry about him. For Shits and Giggles, their whole market stream was black women who were offended.
And they had to come back to England.
Right. So if you want to keep that base going, you're going to have to apologize. It's like Diddy. Diddy's apology didn't mean shit. But when you're a public figure and they've just put a video of you beating up your girlfriend, you're going to have to say something. You have to apologize. So it's not necessarily, oh, comics should never apologize. Every comic would apologize once they say to you, we're taking your TV show. You will apologize. Right. Nick Cannon apologized. Nick Cannon sat down with a rabbi. That's how bad he felt. So your brand versus what is keeping it real is two different things. When you're in the industry and there's a lot to lose, you will toe the line.
But don't you get to a level, well, most comedians are at the top, don't you get to a level where because you're self-propelling now, that you can say, you know what,
you like.
I'm going to do whatever I like.
Until you say the wrong thing.
100%.
Until you say the thing that people don't like.
Kanye West.
Yeah. That's when he said that. I can't.
Just robs it all the way back.
Yeah.
You think you can say whatever you like, and then there's this. I believe in me.
Yeah, but there's a difference. He's not a comedian though.
It doesn't matter.
But it's still someone that
it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
same with Andrew Tate and the Tate brothers.
With Dave Chappelle. Dave
you know
Chappelle got cancelled for a little bit.
Yeah.
So, you think, oh yeah, I'm just going to talk about this because I can. Well, then when you do it, you're like, wait a minute. Actually, that's not. Think of all of the guys who do the high Hecklers salute and drive Teslas. Do you know what I mean?
Like you could even.
Are you gonna associate the two now? Are you gonna go and buy one? Do you get what I mean? It's so crazy when you think to yourself, Elon Musk, probably one of the most powerful open figures in the world, has now put himself, his business and his associated businesses in a massive dilemma because of his political views and a couple of statements and actions that he's done. I'm not saying he's right. I'm not saying he's wrong. What I'm saying is, look what you've done. And now look at the position of everything. So we can't turn around and just say like it's a open season and I'm just there's someone there I can pick on because they're different or they're this or they're that or the other and I'm going to pick on them. And then think there's nothing's going to come back. Yeah. Because, and then if we all reverse it and those who are of one form of ethnicity or diversity to another, when you walk into your workplace or you walk into a room, and it was like, oh, did you see the black guy? And they look at them and they see you. And they go, do you know what I mean? Because they don't want to finish the sentence. Yeah. Why? The black guy literally fell over down the stairs. You know what I mean? Yeah. It was nothing. However, because they've started with the premise, the black guy, it's like, oh.
Can we do that?
Yeah. The guy fell down the stairs. Do you know what I mean?
It's like Ari Spears. He's a comedian. He's actually talented. But because of what he said to people.
But the other day.
Not even the other day, just in general. See the other day? That's him his whole life.
What
he doesn't
what he
understand.
said about
He will
England?
say something about somebody.
Yeah.
See Key and Peele. Key and Peele.
Oh, Eric
Yeah,
Spears,
okay,
the
bro.
guy who said about English rap
English
music.
rappers.
Right,
Oh, but he
him.
did-
Yeah, him.
Yeah.
He's a prime example of getting in your own way, not knowing when to talk and how to talk.
That was just
Key and Peele. They did the sketch show.
Yeah.
Right. He knew them, but he went on camera saying they've got white wives. So when their movies started popping,
Oh, you ain't getting that cool, bro.
other comics did. But we ain't working with you. So being that guy that says what is on his mind can actually cost you. So you have to be careful with it. And like
But what I wanted to say was, well, if you're in that stage or in that environment, it's different, isn't it? Not but like I've gone to a comedy show. Like there's the stigma about it is, oh, don't sit at the front because they're gonna pick you out. So if you've gone now, I'm a big dude now. I've gone down there and I was like, oh yeah, sit at the front. I'm gonna wait for you to say something about my weight. Do you know what I mean?
Here's the thing.
I'm expecting it.
If I'm performing at a comedy show and the compere is ripping the audience, I'm tapping them on the shoulder saying, cut that shit out. I'm trying to come on to perform to people. I don't want to come to people like, oh my God, I've been insulted for 10 minutes. They're not going to be open to comedy. The actual job of a compere or the host is to warm the audience up, not by insulting them. You can banter with people without making them feel bad. What's your name? How you guys been together? So what's the sex like? Does this still come? Banter with them. When you start saying this, I bet you're fat. Do you eat biscuits for lunch? What's your favorite film? What's your favorite film? You know, do you like nuggets? You know what I mean? It's like, whoa. And then everyone's going to be like, nah, that's not cool. So when the comics come on, you're going to have a hard night. Because it's going to be like, fuck you guys.
I went to a comedy club when I was in a relationship. My partner at the time is Asian. And we turned up on time, but
late.
No, on time, but the place was already 3/4 packed. And what they did is when we got there, they were doing a bag search. Then you've got the male queue and the female queue. And we got there, and then they were like, come on, sir, you can come along, you can get searched. And I'm holding her hand, and I'm like, but if I come and get searched, there was only one female bouncer, there's like 4 male bouncers, so the men's queue is just flying. You know the men's toilets, fly through. The women's thing now is all long. So I was like, so if I let her go, I'm going to walk past all of these women and get searched and get inside, but I'm still going to have to wait for her to then
Get searched.
go through the whole thing. Then the bouncer's like, yeah, just come, just bring it, it's fine, don't worry.
Oh.
So as me and her walking out, all I can hear is kiss tea and for all the black women, like, can you find a black woman? What's wrong with you? You know what I mean? Immediately, I was feeling hot, but trying to carry on, like, I don't even speak English right now because I want to go inside and buy a drink. And then when I got inside, my date, she was like, I got surprised. I'm like, what's that? I see someone right at the front, at the table.
Table as well.
It's like, what? So the table was big off, right? Like this thing. And just glass, presenter, comedian, and just pure angry black women staring me in the back of my head. And if I'm sitting there, none of the jokes are funny. I'm like, because I was already wound up to say I can't even deal with what's going on. I mean, obviously it was a long time ago. I just couldn't get my head around it. So I could just imagine that amplified if you're the comedian.
Right. Imagine that. Because here's the maddest thing. A comic will go on stage and see you not laughing, and he might take it personal. But you're not laughing, bro. Everyone else is having a good time. He won't know what you just gone through.
Yeah, exactly.
He won't know that. He'll just think you don't like him. And that's why I learned never to take it personal when no one has to laugh at your jokes. You only like 10 people in the room. In a room of 20, you don't need 10 to laugh, and then everyone's laughing, right? But that's what you just explained there. I would never have thought that. Like, I've never looked at it from their perspective. Because the truth is this, you've gone through a minute to get here. Now you're like, I didn't want to be in front. So you're not thinking of, I'm in a relaxed mood. I've just left work, had a couple drinks. Let me hear some comedy. You're dealing with your own shit in your own head.
Yeah. And it was a whole, in my head I was like, when the intermission comes, just stay still. You know what I mean?
Don't turn around.
I'm not even turning around to see you all quiet.
Right.
And at the end, let's let them all leave. then we can go. You get what I mean?
Right.
And it was, this was a me problem.
Right.
Do you get what I mean? It was 100% about me. However, I'm now imagining if you then spread this across, that must be
So
crazy.
imagine if the compere came to pick on you that day.
Jeez.
It wouldn't have been nice. You might have taken it personal. Shut the fuck up, man. Wow.
Throw the drink.
Right. Because he
Turn
wouldn't
over the
know
table,
what's
throw the
going
drink,
on.
and then fake a heart attack.
And that's what I say, I don't come here to stress the people out. I want them to relax and have a good. When you're likable, people will laugh at anything you say when they like you.
But you know, very what it sounds like to me, all right, is that you're made for stand up, but are you made for example, for TV, for example, for the commercial, for the social medias and so on and so forth? Because these social media guys, sometimes they just say wherever the filth, flower and filth they want to say. They just literally just
it's content.
Yeah, but they just and
That's why you have to look at it like from a thing of when you look at it like that. There's no in every industry in music. There's filter. They filter stuff. What they can and can't say on an album. There's rules and regulations. On social media, with comedy, it's the wild west. Everyone's doing content trying to capture the attention of people, and because of the way it's consumed, there's no regulations in it. There's no rules in it. It doesn't last any test of time. No one goes back to it. You see what I'm saying? We can still go back to Coming to America and have a good evening. You see what I'm saying? Whereas this social media stuff, we want the next day. Like, all right, what's your next thing? So it's still important to just stay in that realm of not just saying what you want to say and actually creating something worth saying.
So, final question from me at least. What does the future hold for Fumbi?
Well, for Fumbi, I think what I'm working on anyway is to create more stories. I want to try and shoot social media, but not sketch form, more like, short films. I like the short films because you can tell narratives and stories, and I'm more exploring my culture. Like when I say my culture, being a British-Nigerian kid, and what does that actually look like in a British-Nigerian sense, and not in a space of, someone said to me, there's no narrative for a black man beyond youth culture. Like you just look at Top Boy and stuff like that, but we don't grow up. There's no fatherhood, there's no divorce, there's no marriage, there's no sending money back home. None of the things we do as middle-aged men. Now we're the first your Caribbeans have been here longer than Africans, but I'm a first-gen Nigerian. So this is my first generation of Nigerians being in England as older men. What does that look like? And that's what I want to tap into, as opposed to what does it look like when a black person gets justice because the policeman shot him and everybody marched in the town hall. I want to take away from those narratives and just talk about the things that we actually think and feel.
All right, question from me. My last question. So, you came here today?
Yes.
So it's a two-part question. First part is...
I think time's up.
Yeah.
Or Tom goes here.
Jay just gave us the most baitest code. Turn over the table. But it's a two-part question. So first one is, you've had a great time, you've been here and whatnot, and you've told us about your style of comedy. So first of all, do I get free tickets for the next show?
Hit me up.
Free tickets for the next show. But you've met all of us here and you've met our characters. And one thing that comedians are good at is depicting people that they meet around when they move around and taking them and whatnot. So if you were to do a sketch about today's show, how would you go about it? Just to kind of give people a little insight on how Fumbi does his comedies and whatnot and whatnot. So you've met obviously Mr. Buddy the Love.
Buddy.
Yeah, the aka The Truth. You've met our resident Citrus, the local singer. We have our resident Jamaican who loves to tell everybody he's Jamaican, but never ever actually represents Jamaica. Never see a Jamaican flag. Never seen ice green and gold socks or nothing like that. I'm just saying. And then obviously myself, Delusion. How would you take this episode and
how would I sketch it out?
Yeah, to say, look, I came to this podcast with these guys and, they had a good time and whatnot.
If I was to think it, I would probably think of I'll take it for like an after party thing. So say we've done the podcast and we're about to go out, right? And then I'll characterize each one of you based on what I thought of your personality so far this evening. So you'd be comic relief.
Comic relief? What? Charity?
He'll be the Joker in the sketch. Do you know what I mean? Right. If I'm writing punchlines, I'll write them because he's got a comedy. He's got good timing for comedy. He's on point. He'll be the whiny ass. You man, I've walked outside since 20 minutes ago. Come on, man, we're gonna be late. We're gonna be late. Like, he's gonna be the organized, annoying one. Do you know what I mean? And then responsibility. He'd be more responsible.
Citrus.
Citrus sounds very
guy-
focused.
That sounds like he knows he's
You know what I
talking
mean?
about.
He's the one that gets the drinks in. Come on, guys, get some drinks in.
Citrus.
No, he definitely gets the drink.
Get the drinks in. You know what I mean? I didn't say Citrus would get the girls though. That's me and no, I'm joking. He's the silent sliper. So I'm saying the lane in the cut, dude.
Probably the only one you actually probably got right.
The lane in the cut, dude. You know, he won't say much. You know what I mean? But then you see with the buffers thing, hey, how you do that? You know what I mean? He'll be that kind of character. So that's how I will sketch it out. Like, based on your personality, is what I've seen, I would know how to put you in certain scenarios and characters that will fit you to bring out your best comedy ability.
And you
Like,
can
Buddy
take that to the
will
bank.
be annoying.
You can take that to the bank. So for the TikTok.
Wait,
But
I've
it's
got
annoying.
my question. Yeah.
So, yo, producer, do you reckon we can get another 15 minutes?
Yeah.
We got the thumbs up, guys. We got the thumbs up. So
Thank you, Jay.
Thank you, Jay. Respect to you.
Like, if you see
Myriad Studios,
how
guys.
Buddy didn't let Tanga come to the pod, yeah. All this time I thought it was just because, you know, there's too many people. But when you pressed him enough, you see the backstory he had. Man was holding it all week.
What was the backstory? What was the backstory? 'Cause I don't know.
And I was watching it like, yeah. But I was just watching it like,
It's all
that's where it was.
Okay, Ray,
You can edit
Christian.
I can't even remember. We spoke about we spoke a lot about American comedians, English comedians, male and female. Who would be the ones that you would go to listen to? No, who would make you laugh
In this country,
in this country, UK?
just any comedians.
Comedians.
A lot of comedians make me laugh, you know. I like Kane Brown. I'm going to go with black comedians.
All right.
I like Kane Brown because Kane's got timing and he's rude. You know, he gives a good rude show. One of the comics I enjoy watching is Quincy. I don't know if you know Quincy.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cockney
Bayesian.
Prince, yep, Bayesian. Quincy's great writer, great timing, great comedy insight. I love watching him perform. Stupid lines, stupid throwaway lines that I like. He's really good. Female, Jeannie Ashery. I performed with Jeannie in Montreal. She was there with me that time as well. Really good person. Who else would I see perform? I think I don't mean. Yeah.
I knew he was gonna say, but okay, leave it as that. Finish it.
I like Ori Styles.
Rory Styles.
Yeah, but we're talking about, you mentioned the males, we're talking about females, but the point that he's not gonna say is whatever. You know.
That's all right. That's all right.
Next step.
So, there's something that we used to do, right?
Go ahead.
On our previous podcast. And we've now said we're going to do it with all our new guests.
Okay.
Now, it's called Empty the Clip.
You should be good at this.
All right.
Right? So, we're Empty Podcast.
Okay. I mean,
And we're emptying the clip.
Okay.
Which is quick fire questions.
Fire.
Right? We're going to give you, how much time should we give him?
It's
Minute and a half?
What do you mean?
What, per question?
No.
Three seconds to answer, and then you've got a minute and a half.
And we've got a minute and a half, yeah?
Wow. Okay.
Over there.
Right.
I'm on the chase
Or
right now.
less.
3 seconds.
Feels like the chase. Right, you ready? Okay. Introvert or extrovert?
Extrovert.
Leader or follower?
Leader.
Spontaneous or planner?
Spontaneous.
Morning person or night owl?
Morning person.
City life or countryside?
City life.
Routine or variety?
Variety.
Impulsive or calculated?
Calculated.
Love or money?
Love.
Money or love?
Love.
All right, okay. Had to try it. Loyalty or honesty?
Honesty.
Public affection or private love?
Public affection, man.
Work alone or collaborate?
Collaborate.
Give gifts or receive gifts?
Give gifts.
Buddy or Wiley?
3 seconds.
Buddy's my dog, man. Buddy all day.
Love deeply and risk heartbreak or stay guarded?
I'm a stay guarded nigga.
High risk or high reward? So high risk and high reward or play it safe?
3 seconds.
Play it safe.
Job security or entrepreneurship?
Job security, man.
That's speaking.
Deadline or flexibility?
Yeah, don't do what I do. You ain't get a 9 to 5.
1 minute left.
Deadline or flexibility?
Flexibility.
Big dreams or small wins?
Small wins.
Office job or more remote working?
Ugh. Office job.
Be the boss or have a boss?
Be the boss.
Life career or multiple job changes?
I mean, I'm a life career person.
Take responsibility or delegate?
Delegate.
30 seconds.
Be highly skilled at one thing or decent at many.
Highly skilled at one.
Books or movies.
Oh, movies.
Marvel or DC.
Marvel.
Netflix or YouTube.
YouTube, blood.
Video games or board games.
Video games.
5 seconds.
Solo travel, group travel.
Solo.
Final question, iPhone or Android?
Android all day.
My guy.
See you later. Well done.
That was great, man. That was good fun, man. That's good vibes, man.
If you use it on one of your sketches, we want
We all
rope.
know.
Straight up.
I mean, there was something I pulled from it though. It feels like, because there were some of the questions about being based off that you being a comedian in the sense of like you being your own boss and things
Say
like
what
that.
you mean and say what you do in it.
Yeah, and it's like you wouldn't like high risk, high reward and the rest of it. It's like there was a few of them. It was like, why did you go against things that or reasons
Because
why
How you live your life.
Yeah,
Because I think people are missold that stuff. High dreams and high risk and high rewards. Life's about small wins.
so
People-
you'd rather would you change this? There's things you would change. about your-
100%. I wouldn't have. If I was going to go into comedy now, I'd have had a much clearer, basic, smaller plan than what I thought I would done when I started.
You know what the funny thing is? Although I don't know your dad, I feel like there's an undertone and an undercurrent of the kind of things that he installed in you. That even though you've chosen this career, that you still don't. You're taking a risk, but you're not putting everything out there.
No, it's not that. It's not that I'm not putting everything out there. It's more of it's more like you said. It's more like you said, calculated or thingy. I'm more calculated now. Whereas before it was more naive. You walk into the industry thinking we're gonna be stars by the weekend. Once we get this pilot popping, blood. Have you ever seen someone tell you we're gonna invest £70,000 in your pilot and tell you we're not gonna make it? And then you feel that okay, you get more no's in this industry than you get yes. So when you ask me to be a boss or have a boss, sometimes it's good to have a boss. You don't have to worry about payroll. You don't have to worry about paying people's taxes. You don't have to worry about if the pandemic hits, your shit's going down. You know what I mean? And some people it works for them. So I never pushed out like you're gonna be your own boss and own your own stuff. Nah, fam. Sometimes just work for someone, isn't it? Like even when you're your own boss, you still like Ron James is his own boss, but he still works for someone. So it's not a bad thing in that sense. So I never try and missell that you can dream big and win. More time in this life, you're more likely to fail than you are to succeed. But that's okay, because you learn from that.
So if you have a child now, telling them to be a comedian if you wanted to.
I'll give them the right foundation to do it. Remember, my parents are Nigerian. They weren't looking, they didn't know about talent. So they weren't like, let's take him to drama school. If my son wants to be a comedian, I'd be like, cool, listen, this is what you're going to have to do. Hit the comedy clubs, work. Don't take it too personal, grow. Do you see what I'm saying? And I'll be able to guide him better. But it's the guidance angle as opposed to, yeah, you want to be a comedian? Okay, dream big, son, you can make it. None of that.
I mean, I'm going to give your mum and dad a little bit more credit because I know your brother, obviously, his route and him obviously singing with Amy Winehouse and all the rest of it, being a good singer. And I think he's another brother that does. Is it singing he does?
My younger brother does singing, but my older brother is the one
He's
that,
the one that
did the singing.
Yeah,
thing.
and then obviously yourself. So I mean, they've got a successful
Yeah,
line. I'm
yeah.
like, I mean, they've done well. So you can't really, as much as you're saying that, like
But
everyone.
it's through those, it's through his examples as well. Like he did back in for Amy Winehouse, but Amy Winehouse passed away. Do you see what I'm saying? And so there's no, it's not like he had an album coming after that. You know what I mean? He wanted to sell albums, he wanted to make albums. But sometimes you're just going to be a backing vocalist.
I mean, he'd be a good person to have on there though, because I do remember him and him having a very good voice, and it was just like, well, what happened?
Okay, it's the thing. There's having a good voice and there's selling records. Some people can sell records, some people can't. There's a backing vocalist she used to come on and sing in the middle of a established artist show, and everybody used to go crazy. So she approached everyone like, I want to make an album. So they made her an album. It didn't sell. Nobody bought it, and that's the problem. So when you see someone who can sell records, it's a different thing than him actually being a singer. You know, there's more that goes into that.
So, all right, I'll give you one for us then. So a little bit of advice for yourself to see what you can give us. But we want to make it famous. What advice would you give us to say that we
All I would say is just be yourselves. Like, this has been a vibe for me. You know what I mean? So this podcast is a vibe. You see what I'm saying? This has been good energy. Like, you're all smart people. We had good conversations, good back and forths. You know, we learned that we can't say anything we say when we're kids. Now, where we'll go wild is like, you know, you should be like 3 shots of tequila. It's like, nah, bro, be yourselves. Your audience is your audience. Appreciate them, keep feeding them, and you will grow with them. And that's what it's about. People want success overnight. And, you know, sometimes it takes 30 years. And then they'll be like, you man heard of the MTM Funmbi podcast? You're like, but we've been around for 30 years, blood. But at that point in that time, you are who is relevant. And that's all you have to work for. Being famous is a trick, you know? It's not something you work for. It's something that's actually labeled, you know? So the most famous people in this world, they're good looking, they have a selling point or something sticks out. And that's the reason why they're the one. You might not get it, you might not understand it, but you can't kill yourself trying to get it. So what I would say to you is keep doing your podcast, man, because I'm even going to tweet it now. No, I'm joking. This is what I was talking about, coming back to that audience. You know what I mean? I didn't have to pretend to be someone I'm not. You weren't asking me goofy questions like, so when you grew up in Hackney, was there gunshots in you? You all know what Hackney was saying. You know what I mean? Because you man grew up in those areas. So I like that energy, and this is where this is the kind of spaces I want to be in, where we're just talking as young black people who grew up in London. And you understand my stories.
See, now I feel like I need to ask you, how many times did you get chased down in Murder Mall?
That's captured in it. You know, I never got chased, yeah, but you know, the Jamaicans in my area.
Hey.
You know the funny thing, yeah, when I was a kid, my parents were like, don't hang with Jamaicans, all they do is steal. Right? But the biggest thief I knew was my Uncle Tunde. Hey, I thought Tunde was a Jamaican name, you know, because the way he used to steal, I thought he must be Jamaican, right? And it's so ironic how my parents were like, don't hang with Jamaican. But my Uncle Tunde, they didn't want to let him in the house. You know what I'm saying? So it's those kind of stories, like, if we knew, then, like, you can't judge Jamaicans. Everyone steals, you know?
Everyone's got Uncle Tunde, don't worry about that. Everyone's got one.
And he was my favorite uncle, obviously, because we used to bring trainers to the yard, PlayStations. I know he stole them, but hey, don't buy it. So it's that kind of, you know, that was like Hackney then, innit? But yeah, the Jamaicans in my area, we weren't allowed to play in the park across the street, because my parents think that's where all the criminals were. It wasn't just Jamaicans, there were Nigerians there too. So they used to call us the prisoners in the ends.
Oh, right.
Because we weren't allowed to come and play football. They used to call us the prisoners. One time I was going to the library and they saw us going to the library. They're like, the prisoners are escaping. The prisoners are escaping. Hey, it was embarrassing, man.
Yeah, man. No, it's definitely been nice having you down, Fums. Any last words from the boys, as I know we have to sign off now? Anyone?
No, for me, man, it's been good. It's been a pleasure.
Yeah, I would just
Thank you
like to
for
say
having me.
thank you very much for coming and
Thank
sharing
you so
your
much,
experiences
man.
with us.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
man, it's been
I have
amazing.
to come to a show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
definitely.
was that free tickets?
Yeah, I'm right. I'm doing a
I'll
work
pay.
in progress
I'll
show.
pay.
So I'll let you guys come
as
out.
well.
Oh, yeah. I'm
I like
getting
when black
free
people do that. I'll pay. Hey, you know that show?
Well, it's not free now.
It's a gesture.
I was only saying I would be. I have to be.
Nah. Because you know, black people don't go out to shows, you know. What? No, maybe not the shows I'm at. Maybe not the shows.
Oh, right. Okay.
Oh. Straight away, we were onto you, you know.
And because at our age, I don't know what we do. No
You know
more.
what? Like I said,
Brunches.
you need to. Yeah, brunches is one.
And you know
thing.
the funny thing is, you still didn't answer my question. Where are you next? Where, what's going on?
Tomorrow I'm in London, but I'm working on a work in progress show. You'll see on social media soon. So I'm working on an hour, but I have to perform with like a live audience. So you're going to see the material I've written. And you get to judge if it's going to be
Looking forward
good
to
or
that.
not.
So
So
where
don't get it twisted. You get to judge in terms of your own little head. Don't say nothing to me about it. I'm not interested in your feedback.
So where do we go to have your information so that when you do have the show, we know
On my
about
Instas, on my socials, Funmbi Omotayo. Omotayo is my surname. That's another thing. When I started doing the main rooms, they wanted to use my surname. But I didn't think I had a name like that. You're like a John Wick,
I hate you.
Stuart Lee, Paul
Omotayo
Bradley,
works, bro.
Funmbi Omotayo. Yeah. And in school, they used to call my name Omotayo, Omotayo,
Yeah.
which was that was fire still. But I just didn't think I had that name. So I'm going back to Funmbi.
You know you need to have a little jingle with that. Omotayo. I'll remember that.
Omotayo,
Yeah, I'll remember it. It'll get me going.
This is your plug right now, isn't it?
Like, imagine in school when you're in school and man said, "What's your saying?" Omotayo. That's your father's name, you know. Yeah. That's your father's name. They're rinsing like that.
I think it sounds alright.
Yeah. It was funny. So it's that kind of vibe. So on my socials, you can catch me. And I'm gonna be posting them when I'm doing the show, so you guys can calm down because I want to make it an hour.
Right, cool.
And like a special, and I will upload it on YouTube.
I've been to one of your hour shows before.
As opposed to waiting for Netflix, like you said, I'm gonna self-produce it and put it up.
I like it.
People can see it. Yeah.
I hope you actually have a little bit in your sketch about kids because kids are fuckeries.
Yes, I do have
Young
about
kids
kids.
are mean
Yeah.
as hell, you know.
Yeah.
We think adults are bad, but kids...
Do you do that thing when you're disciplining your kids, you go into your parent mode,
Yeah, of course.
like your parent's tongue?
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, but you don't speak like that though. Where's all this? But my sister's like, put that down. I'm like, what are you doing? You don't speak like that. But they go into the mother
I don't know,
tongue.
it just happens.
Right.
I mean, I'd get whatever my mum used to say to me. keep that.
Yeah. I like that though, you know, because when we were going through it, thinking, oh, why are they doing like this? But now we know, innit?
Well, now I'm a lot older. I realize to myself I'm exactly like her, which isn't a good thing.
I don't have kids, but I'm an uncle. And I've learned as an uncle, when my nieces and nephews are being disciplined by my siblings, my role is to mind my business.
Yeah.
Because you catch secondhand smoke.
Say that again, please, because there's enough young people out there that don't understand that.
Yeah,
tell them.
When my siblings are disciplining their kids, and I'm like, come on, man, like, they turn on me, bro. Like, go back, go stand in the corner, bro.
Right, you don't hear that, yeah? He had to say it twice.
So you gotta let them,
right.
Let them go through.
Let them do their thing.
Yeah,
that seems personal over there.
Nah, that ain't personal. I'm just saying.
Especially in this day and age, man.
You know what I mean? I'll let you close the show, Rayman.
No, you have to do it.
Yeah,
you always make mistakes.
Sorry. Let's just look at
Let's watch him.
Why they wanna close the show?
No, you gotta watch him.
Wait, we got the slogan, right?
What's the
The
slogan?
glass ain't half full, it's... And I always kind of, I don't know, but I ain't been drinking.
What do you struggle with that, bro?
I don't know. The glass ain't half empty, it's... And I'm like, yeah, the glass ain't half... And wait.
The mug isn't got tea in it.
So, but you know what? Today I ain't drank nothing in it. We were on the whole water thing for Lent and all the rest of it. So the glass ain't half full, it's...
Empty.
If the glass.
Oh, here we go.
If the glass.
Yeah, I know. I get it.
Is the response just empty?
Yeah, it's just
It's
empty.
empty.
It's empty.
No,
Okay.
no, don't do that again. It's done. He's messed it up.
Yeah, you did.
You did, but it's about timing. Your timing. You gave the big.
If the
speech
glass
into it.
ain't half full,
It's empty.
There you go.
thank you very much, Fumbi.
Thank you so much for having me,
Absolutely.
guys, man. I had a great time, man. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it, man.
Nice, man.
I really enjoyed that, man.
Saying you back.
So how did you do on Empty the Clip in your head?
I liked it
He's
because...
under pressure. He started sweating after that.
You know,
I saw the beat.
Yeah.